We're doing it. It's happening. It's y'all right now.
I don't
We good? We're live? All right, guys. Welcome to this Thursday night edition of the show at Fish North Georgia. We hope that you survived all the big rainstorms that they said was coming today that kept a lot of us from going fishing. I wanted to watch it become a very nice day. All of you that have tuned in already, just want to say thank you for being here, and those that will be watching this at a later date, thank you for taking the time to watch. So, again, we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk topwater. All right, topwater bass. It's about the time of year. We were scheduled to do this, about another month. We were going to do it in May.
Yeah.
And it's just.
I said we need to pick it up because.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
It's time. And he's excited. Mr. Ryan Sheffield is excited to talk topwater.
Connection on that mic.
Mike?
Yeah, you're.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can't
Hello.
hear you in the monitor at all.
Oh gosh.
Mic check, Danny. Everybody. This is what happens when we let Josh do this stuff.
Well, we just don't want Danny to talk. We want all Ryan and all Bronson.
We're having technical difficulties.
How about now?
Executive producer.
Right.
Echoing
It's
bad.
echoing
It's
bad.
sad.
Unplug it and plug it back in.
Talk.
All right.
You talk, Ryan.
Say something, Dan.
How about now?
How about now?
You take over the show till we figure out what's wrong with my mic.
All right.
Introduce everybody.
All right. So while we get Danny's mic problem fixed, because I guess he broke it. What?
No, you keep talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were talking to me.
What is it?
Oh my gosh. We got some
Over here to the big camera.
we got some rats over here that's chewed on some cables.
Keep talking. Don't lose
Hey.
it.
Hey.
On my end.
While they work on this, I'm just going to say
Introduce yourself. Actually.
my name's Ryan Sheffield. Y'all seen me before. I'm the rattling bog guy, and this is my partner, fishing partner, Bronson Cox. We've been fishing together for a while now, and we have a lot of good times together, regardless
if we catch anything or not.
regardless what happens.
Keep going.
Sam, I was just reading.
Let me move.
Pork Taco said it sounds like Frogman.
Hey, watch out. Let me do it.
Hey,
It's Providence, Danny Ferguson.
what's that mean?
All right, guys. Hey, listen, I'm taking over Ryan's microphone right now. We,
camera Tim White. See who's talking.
Well, yeah. Listen, what happened? Yeah, we wonder why. Y'all see me up here. What happened was Josh and I did some filming down here the other day, and Mr. McKay didn't put anything back together. That's right. We're gonna throw it. We're gonna throw shade at Josh right under the bus. So anyway, Paul is trying to figure it all out, but we'll start right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and as always, this episode is brought to you by State Farm and the Cassidy Agency. You see how life can throw curveballs at you and how things can go wrong. Right here's a perfect example. We just ran down here, thought we would have just the typical start to the show. And, right from the get-go, we've got problems. And that's the way life is. You never know what's going to happen. So you always want to make sure that you take care of the stuff that's important to you, whether it be your home, your auto, but like always, we always say your fishing equipment. All right, that's an important thing that you've got a lot of money invested in. And you want to make sure that you get something a little more than just a warranty involved on it. So, make sure that they've got a personal articles policy. $75 will cover up to $7,000. You can do your rods. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. When life throws you a little curveball, you're ready. And we do have to, we bootleg it every once in a while. We do what we can do. So Paul, I tell you what's pretty cool is Paul is learning all this on the fly, and he is handling it very well behind the scenes. We should have a camera on him right now.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
He's everywhere.
But anyway, if you want protection, like Paul's protecting us, you need to call Chase Epley at 678-779-7269. Let me get my head out of the way so you can see the sign right there. And
How's that?
does my mic work, everybody? Yeah, we do the headphones. I'm gonna swing back over. But guys, listen, give Chase a call so when things like this happen in your personal life, you're protected. All right, and so it's all right. We just we roll with it. So
you got it.
that's right. Let me stick back over.
So like Pork Taco and Tim White said, that's it.
All right, there we go.
That's it.
Here's the problem. We got to come down here about 30 minutes earlier instead of waiting about 5 minutes. Oh, hell, let's go down there and do the show.
About that time.
Listen, seriously. I mean, but between bathroom breaks and telling stories about everybody, we wing it right there. So again, hey, that's life. And right there, there's a little old Paul right there. So Cassidy Agency, Chase Epley. Tell them Fish North Georgia sent you. Tell them the crazy guys down there. It's just a perfect example. That's the way things go. You don't always plan for it, but sometimes it just happens. So got a few announcements before we get talking top water. Now that we can regroup right here, I want to make sure we get these out of the way because we got a lot of information. These guys, what we're trying to do is when we have somebody in from here on out, especially when we do a topic-specific show, we want them to bring their baits, their equipment, and stuff like that, so we can give you guys, I guess, a good tutorial. Is that the best way? You like that word, tutorial?
It'd be a good explanation.
Explanation?
Anything that could help you improve your game.
And right now, you're going to help everybody improve their top water game.
I'm going to try
right?
to.
Okay.
Yeah, do my best.
Hey, what's up, boss man from Memphis? All right, so let's do this. I want to make sure we do it right. I want to make sure I give you guys credit. So this is Mr. Ryan Sheffield, Mr. Rattling Bog. I'm not going to make him sing tonight, although that was still, I don't know that we'll ever top it.
Never will.
Well, that's like shooting a 10-point buck first time ever hunting. You just ruin it for the rest of us. So that's okay. We loved it. And Bronson Cox, and I said that right?
Yes, sir.
Bronson Cox. All right, so you go. I didn't want to mess nothing up. So you two fish together.
Yep.
Okay, so good. So if he starts lying, you can tell me that he's lying. You're gonna hold him accountable.
Yeah, I'll try.
You'll try? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. So yeah, listen. So here's what we're gonna do. Like I said, I got a couple of announcements real quick, and then we're gonna go. Next Tuesday night. If you are interested or know someone who is interested in fishing the Electric Elites in 2022, next Tuesday night, we are going to be releasing the schedule for 2022, as well as the new and improved payouts and stuff like that. So if you're considering fishing, again, we want you to fill out an application, and there's ways to get involved with this, but I think when you hear the lakes, hear what we're doing, and you hear the dinero that we're going to be talking about, you think it was good this year, just wait till next year, what we've got coming up. It's going to be kind of mind-blowing what we're getting ready to pull off here in the electric only world. So that's next Tuesday night. Next Thursday night, King Jeremiah is going to be back in the house talking swim baits. Heck yeah. So Jeremiah's going to come back in here and we're going to talk swim baits. He's going to bring all his toys back, but he wants to do definitely wants to do a little more, like we said, explanation type and a teaching kind of thing. And
did anybody see his video of him skipping that mag draft? That's impressive.
He did pretty good, didn't he?
Impressive.
It is impressive. And I don't know who made him mad, but he was skipping all kinds of stuff. Listen,
he was throwing everything.
Somebody made him upset. And Big Lakes on there. Yes. I'm just going to say that. Good partners back up each other's lives.
That's
Stephen
right.
Barday. That's exactly right.
That's the way it's got to be.
That's the way it's got to be. So
We ain't going to tell many lies tonight.
no.
We're gonna be truthful.
And we want you guys, again, to comment questions, anything, or call these guys out if you see them doing something. That's what we want to do.
Call
them out and say, hey, listen, that's wrong. But anyway,
well,
your opinion. It's fun to just get different opinions like that. So
right.
So anyway, next Tuesday night, Electric Elite, it'll be a bass episode, but we're going to be doing a lot of stuff for the electric only world that you guys need to hear. And if you're not fishing the Electric Elite, you still want to listen to that, because there is I guess you can say an organizational structure change that we're going to have, where people who are not fishing the elites can still participate in such things, and any open tournaments and stuff like that. So it's going to be a good episode, a lot of information. And again, Jeremiah, the swim bait champ, that's what he says when he normally gets on. There he is. Jeremiah's here. Let's see, what was it? They tried me and thought it was a game, so I had to make them look crazy real quick. That's why he made that video. So Jeremiah will be here next Thursday, and that will be pretty cool. Again, want to congratulate Jesse Millsaps on joining us with True Grit. Jesse is a National Professional Fishing League angler in 2021, and True Grit is now going to be his official jig sponsor. He's fishing a tournament in Texas, I can't remember the name of the lake. In a week and a half, he'll be down there. You can watch it all live on your computer and stuff like that. You can watch the weigh-ins and all that. But if you see him throwing jigs, that's something I tied right there. So I'm real proud of that fact that he's going to be using that. And we thank him for his support. And he joins William Brewer up in Virginia, and Sayers and Farmer down here, Jonathan Farmer and Jason Sayers in Georgia as our team right now. So it's expanding, and we appreciate those guys. But glad to have Jesse on board. And I think, that might be it. Are you about ready to talk?
Sure, whenever you're ready.
You're always ready to talk.
You're always ready to talk. What's up, Chris Gayton? And Chris is a partner with us in True Grit, and he was excited too when I told him that. And also, Chris has worked really hard with us in coming up with the format for next year for the Electric Elites. That again, we just think it's taken what we did this year. We notched it up a step. We kicked it up. Next year, we're going to kick it up even farther. And there's even a couple things that I haven't told Chris yet. I'm going to hold off to that and just surprise him that Josh and I have in store for him. Might give him a heart attack and all that, but he's going to be really excited. So also too, hey, if your company or anything wants to get involved with the Elites, let me know. We're looking for sponsors for the 2022 season already to make it even bigger and better than what it is. So with all that said, the topic tonight is top water. We're going to start from the basics. You've been excited to talk about this. You wanted to do the top water show. So, Mr. Ryan,
it's my bread and butter.
It's your bread and butter.
This is what I do.
It is what you do. And I would say pretty much now, not just Lanier, but Lanier's your home lake.
Yeah, but I do it everywhere.
You do it everywhere.
Yeah.
But you do it a little bit different on Lanier than a lot of people do.
I do.
You do. And then you're going to let everybody know the secret tonight?
I might drop the bag tonight.
You might drop the bag tonight. So you're going to get some stuff to help you tonight, guys. So let's do this. Let's start off with basics on bass top water fishing. I'll let you go. And guys, in the comments, I'm going to read your comments, questions. You start popping them in for Ryan and Bronson, and we'll go from here.
Basics.
Basic top water.
That's kind of broad.
I threw you a softball. I threw you the softball to get started. I didn't want to throw you the down and away slider.
And I missed.
I don't doubt it. You didn't look like you were that athletic. Let me rephrase this. Here we go. Can you start us off on top water tonight? How would you like to start?
Well, first of all, if you're gonna go throw top water, it's a mentality thing. It's not like doing anything else. You really have to commit to it, and you have to stick to it in order to gain success at it. It's not one of those things where you can go down the bank first thing in the morning and whipping a buzz bait in 30 minutes. Well, I ain't got a bite, so and put that down,
right?
Not pick it up anymore. No, it's something you've got to work at. You've got to really put time and effort in. If you're gonna throw top water from sun up till sundown, like the way that I like to do it, you're gonna go out some days and you're gonna swing and miss a lot. And you're going to be, telling yourself, well, I could pick up a jig or a shaky head or something right here and catch a fish. But you really got to have that mentality. Say, if I'm going to get better at it and I'm going to learn to do it, and learn to be more proficient at it, then it's something you got to go do. It's like any other technique. You just got to go do it. The one thing about topwater fishing is it is one of the few techniques that you have a high percentage of getting bigger bites on.
Okay.
More so than throwing something on the bottom or anything, majority of the time your bites are going to be a lot better quality bites.
See, a lot of people say that about a jig.
Yes.
You throw a jig.
Jig is one of those techniques that if you throw a jig, majority of your bites should be a little bit better quality. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a little bit bigger fish.
Oh, get that comment right there from Daryl Morris, and he says he's a catfisherman, but he always thought topwater was just a morning bait.
Yeah, that's
so we're going to dispel that myth.
No, that's
for him.
That a lot of people throw top water in the morning, and then once the sun gets up good, they kind of shade away from it, and that's not what I do. That's not what I like to do. I'll keep throwing it. My little motto that I always say is the hotter it gets, the better it gets.
Okay.
I like and Bronson will tell you this, when me and him first started fishing together, he was like, you're crazy. But I like those 95-degree summer days. and throwing top water.
Now, Bronson, did when you first started fishing with Ryan, did you have that top water love that he has, or it was something that while fishing with him, you just kind of absorbed it?
No, I fished Lanier since I was a kid, and the top water bite is, like he said, when it gets hot and the sun is high, a lot of people get away from the top water, but on a good day with the wind blowing and you got boat traffic, the top bite will go all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It really will. And that's from open water all the way up to shallow water.
Okay. And what y'all see me doing is I'm writing down these questions as they come in, because I want to make sure that we get everybody's questions. So let's start off with the first one that I saw.
How big is too big?
No, there's actually one before that. Which lakes? Now you're talking. You fish primarily. You fish everywhere.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Lanier specifically first. Largemouth or spots, clear or stained water. Right now, what are you looking for? Right now, you're throwing top water. Are you targeting the largemouth or the spots? Are you looking for clear stained water? What
both. I'm looking for both. And in stainer water, typically you need to throw something that's a little darker and makes a little bit more commotion. In the clearer water, I'll be honest, this time of year and a little bit, and we've been throwing a top water for about 4 weeks maybe, and been catching fish on it.
Yeah.
And clear water specifically, stuff like right now, a wake bait like a redfin is really good. A popar, a big popar, not a smaller regular size one, like a big popar.
What is a big popar? Well, popar for those that don't know.
One of the bigger ones that's probably like anything over 3.5 inches, because they're looking for a bigger meal.
Okay.
Right now, it's the spawn. It's spawn time. There's fish on bed. There's fish going on bed. They're looking for that meal, that big meal, something that they can really get a lot of protein out of.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this question to Bronson, because you basically you pretty much answered it. You're looking for whatever's gonna bite in whatever water right now. How big is too big for top walkers? That's a question that came in.
That's a hard question
to
answer.
Because that is hard. Because here's what's funny is when we do our swim bait show next Thursday, you've got the guys that to them a swim bait is a 2.8 Kitech,
right? And
then you've got guys that throw a 12-inch. You got some 9-inch ones upstairs. So what's too big?
It's basically the same way of fishing anything, trying to match the hatch. If they're eating 2-inch red blueback, you need to go with the 2 to 3-inch top water walker.
Does it change over the time of the course of the year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So right now, though, in the spring, are we going with the bigger ones?
You want to throw a bigger bait.
Bait. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I wrote down here bone or super spook. That was a comment.
Bone colored super spook. That's a staple.
Yeah.
Bone colored and chrome colored. Those are staple super spooks.
Got a lot of good questions coming in. I'm writing them down as fast as I can. I knew there'd be some good questions. No, it's good. How about this one? Jonathan Farmer made a comment. Can you go back up to his? I want to make sure I read it because I wrote down chrome versus ghost colors. I think it was, and Bronson will let you do it, when the sun is high. Are we going with more chrome or are you going more with ghost? And I guess that would be more translucent, clear.
And if you don't have no boat traffic or no wind blowing, you're going to go with a little bit of translucent.
Okay, that's what he said. He goes, always go to the chrome versus the ghost colors when the
ghost colors work good in the morning. That's typically one of your colors you want to throw in the morning because it's translucent and the fish are really active first thing in the morning. So throwing something that's translucent ghost colored is a really good thing to start out with first thing in the mornings if you're going to go throwing a popar or throwing a walking bait or anything like that.
Did you fish this morning?
Yes.
What did you throw first thing?
Well, no, I didn't fish this morning. I fished yesterday.
Okay, yesterday morning. You threw some top water?
Yes.
What was the first thing that come out?
The bone colored spook.
Bone colored spook,
yes.
Okay. And did we have any success on it? We're on Lanier?
On Lanier. Yeah, I caught like 6 yesterday evening.
Okay.
On the spook.
Okay. So when you're throwing that and you fished in the evening.
Yes.
Now, let's say you started in the morning and the evening. Did what you were targeting change versus the time of day? So like since you went in the evening, what were you concentrating on Any structure, anything particular?
Just some brush on points and with some rock on it.
You're calling the fish up.
Yeah, you can call the fish up from if they're in 20 foot of water, but right now my majority of the fish are not that deep.
Okay.
But in the morning bite is usually about the same to me as in the afternoon.
Very similar type.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just when you get in that middle of the day,
it
you kind of
changes in the middle of the day.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Then do you have a preference when you go to the chrome versus the ghost colors? I mean, do you like that chrome better with the high sun? Is that what it is?
That's what I like to do.
You like chrome more flash with the high sun?
That's what I personally
How about
like,
you? Same?
It's same, long as there's some boat traffic or something would chop on the water.
You don't want it. The worst thing for a topwater guy is a smooth, crystal clear lake.
Yeah.
They can see, they'll come up, show themselves. They might short strike it, blow it out of the water, but they won't. They're not going to.
They'll knock that dang thing 10 feet out of this dang water when it's slick. It's almost like they come up with their mouth closed.
Just to hit it.
You'll see them. You'll see them come up and get it, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And they'll knock your spook out of the water.
Right?
It's like, what? Why didn't it get it? You know,
they'll get right there to it and be like, "Yep, that's not what I want."
Or they'll come up and they'll chase it all the way back to the boat, and you're like, "Oh my god, there's 3 or 4 down there."
And then that's it. Like that. Okay, all right. So so you just basically you're adapting with the sun and then changing your tactics a little bit, and then you start off with one thing in the morning. You get to another in the middle of the day, and you basically can go back to that morning thing in the evening sometimes.
Yeah. And that's a little bit. The only time that's a little bit different is when there's a herring spawn or a shad spawn, which is going to be coming soon.
Explain that to everybody.
It's going to be coming soon. In the morning, like if you find shad spawn or a herring spawn in the morning, you know, you can pretty much throw everything at them but the kitchen sink, you know, and catch them. It really doesn't matter. As long as whatever you're doing is you're working in as fast and as erratic as you possibly can. One thing that is extremely overlooked that I do a lot of damage with is actually a super fluke.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't think that's a topwater.
I was getting ready to ask that question.
But you can use the bait as a topwater, especially if you find a shad spawn or a herring spawn, specifically with a herring spawn. It's crazy with a herring spawn. But you just throw that thing as hard and as far as you can up there wherever the herring are spawning or the shad are spawning. And you just work that thing as fast as you can. I mean, I'm literally throwing it out there, and I'm
just
as
erratic
fast as I can. I do not want it to fall below the surface, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't look because the bait's just doing this,
right?
And you know, it's not really doing anything.
But you're keeping it on top.
But I'm keeping it on top.
So does it look more like a fleeing?
It looks like a fleeing bait fish, and they will absolutely crush that thing. I mean, you will get multiple blow-ups on a cast if they don't get it.
Now, are spots more aggressive to that than largemouth, or does it matter?
Spots are hyper aggressive fish, especially when it comes to topwater. On any lake that's got spots, they'll come from. I've seen fish come from 20 feet away to come. You'll see a black streak come, and they'll come blow up on it out of nowhere.
Right.
You know, I mean, and you're like, that fish was way over here, and it come all the way over here and blew up all over it. You know, the spots just seem super aggressive, and I think it's just because they school up and they pot up so much that it's a race to the finish line. Who's the first one that's going to be there to get it?
Gotcha.
You know, and that's a meal. I've got to go get it, and they go do whatever they can to go get it. Anyway, any other questions?
No, I got that. Yeah, I'm writing questions down. I got a lot more. I'm way behind on them, but I want to make sure we cover everything. And there was a comment about the fluke, how you're hooking it with from Jonathan Farmer that I'm going to skip some of the questions and I'll go back to these. Flat calm is when the nose hook comes into play for me when they are knocking the spook out of the water and not eating it, or the fluke and stuff like the fluke out of the water and not eating it. Yeah. So do you rig yours up? I know that we did a podcast with Jimbo a long time ago, and he nose hooks his flukes when he's fishing offshore structure on the near. He just felt that gave it a better action and a better hookup. Are you the same or different? Or
I will, but most of the time I just hook it like you would normally, like Texas rig. But I will nose hook them. Okay. But very rarely do I.
When you nose hook them, what size hook do you normally use off the top of your head? Is it more of a circle type hook or?
It's a circle hook. It's a, was it a 2-aught Gamakatsu circle hook?
Hook?
Yeah.
Do you do the same thing or you?
Yeah, same thing.
Are you more? Are you or like him? Or is that like a last resort? Or are you quick to throw it through the nose?
I used to nose hook a lot of them, but now lately I've been Texas rigging it with a weighted hook. I like a weighted hook.
And what does that do for you?
I can fish. I can let the fluke drop. I can fish it like suspended in a certain depth of water.
Right.
Or if I want to reel it a little faster, I can keep that fluke with that weighted hook up to the surface.
So
and
you
it still got the same reaction.
So you got a little bit of variety in that you can do it without having to change the hook.
Unless I'm fishing like docks or something like that in shallow water, I don't use a weighted hook as much.
All right, okay, I got that. Kevin Chadwick, glad that you're back, buddy. And Eric Beasley, it was good to see you guys yesterday like that. So I hope all is well, Kevin, with you.
I'll tell you why real quick. Why I don't.
Tell everybody
why I shy away from the single hook is because there's going to come a point in the day where I'm going to be picking up a fluke and doing the same thing with it, but I'm going to be throwing it on the bank.
Okay.
And a single hook, you're going to hang up.
Gotcha.
And I can be lazy, so I won't cut it off. And
all right, there you go. All right,
I'll just keep the same hook on there.
All right,
I just use a 5/0 offset shank. I don't use a wide gap.
And why is that? Just personal preference.
It seems like sometimes I can get better hookup with a straight shank worm hook than I can with an extra wide gap. I know that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it doesn't make any sense to me either. But I've had fish just absolutely inhale the bait, and you set the hook and they come off halfway back to the boat. So I don't. Fluke's one of those things where a fluke is the bait that I like to tell. It's one of them baits that I put in the categories. It piss you off,
right?
Because you'll see giant fish swirl all over a fluke and try to get a fluke, and you'll never get a hook in them, and you're just like, oh my god,
right? Right.
Like what? What's the deal?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I try not to throw it as much, but there are some times where a fluke will outshine throwing it across the top of the water, or it'll outshine an actual hard bait.
Okay.
So
that's good. Nathan, how you doing, buddy, tonight? And again, and with all the chaos at the beginning, one thing that I forgot to do, if you're watching tonight on either the Facebook channels, the group or Fish North Georgia, you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Paul will write it right here in the comment post. And make sure you put your name, because right now in the comment section, we get a lot of guys that we know, and then we'll get somebody that says Facebook user. And normally I say that at the beginning of the show, but given all the chaos with the bad mic and all this this evening, I totally forgot to do that. So we're glad you're here. But yeah, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you take the time to do that, just so we can address you by your name.
Somebody said line size.
Yeah, I had that written down.
I don't throw no smaller than 15.
What about you?
Well, when I first started fishing with Ryan, I'm old school. I had 8 pound on all my spinning rods. I was fished south end. Then I changed everything to 12 pounds. But I didn't fish. All my stuff used to be fluorocarbon because, like I said, then I went to model filament. Then I went to fluorocarbon.
Right.
So I did go to 12 pound, and I ain't seen no difference in the hook set and the bites. So I stay with my 12 pound now.
Right. You like the 12 pound, and you like the heavier.
I go 15.
And why?
I set the hook too hard.
All right. So it's more okay. So the 15 is to compensate for your wild hook sets.
He will set the hook like swinging a bat.
Yeah, I know. I'm absolutely positive that he will do that. So, all right, now what is the actual? We've been talking about a fluke, and we'll get to all these other baits here shortly. But if we're throwing a fluke, especially let's say let's go from the Texas rig and the exposed. Is there a difference in how you should set the hook? Either one, you can answer that, because I know a lot of guys will say if you got an exposed hook, just go start reeling into them. And then some guys, they jerk like your Shark Week, and it doesn't matter what they got.
I'm the world's worst about it, but if they eat a fluke, it really don't matter how you set the hook. You can literally just sweep to the side and start reeling
because they got it.
If they eat it, they've got it in their mouth. And their initial reaction a lot of times too, if you watch fluke fish, they come up and they grab it, and then they're going the opposite direction of where they came.
Right.
So you're literally just got to pin them up, and set the hook and pull the hook into them. And for you kayak guys that like the, that fish out
Don't
of kayak
upset the kayak guys.
I'm not trying to.
Don't listen. The kayak guys, and I love every one of you. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out tonight. I like my kayak guys.
No, I'm just saying about the kayak guys. I know sometimes you guys are sitting down, and y'all have to modify your hook sets a little bit. And with a fluke, you really don't have to. If you see one get it, all you got to do is just pull your rod back, start reeling.
Okay.
So. But like I said, I'm
That's
the world's worst. I'll see one get it, and I'll wow.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's with the fluke. We got a lot of other baits that we're going to cover.
Yeah.
You guys keep the questions. I promise you, I'm writing them down. But I'm going to go back. So the next question is about
what's your go-to largemouth bait?
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and do that. Listen, I know that's Cooper. Let's go ahead and answer because I like Cooper. So, and then we'll go back to some of these other guys. I like Cooper better than a lot of the guys. He's a regular. So, what's your go-to largemouth topwater bait? I'm gonna tell you what mine is.
What's yours?
Buzzbait.
Okay.
I'm a buzzbait guy. I'm old school. Everybody on here knows I have a disdain for the whopper plopper. But listen, I'm telling you, Josh and I are going. We got a pre-fish hickory log tomorrow for the elite tournament next week, and it's the last chance we get because I'm gonna fish a tournament on Altoona on Saturday. I may actually open up that whopper plopper and actually throw one time.
You need to throw it.
Yeah, it is just the gimmickiest looking thing though. It looks like, but listen, it's gimmicky looking.
It's not.
And I know
Have you caught a fish on a whopper plopper?
No, I won't throw.
Okay, so once you get a bite on a whopper plopper, you'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm never putting this thing down."
No, I promise you, I won't be like that.
I'm just saying,
I will not be like that. I am old school.
They strike that bait so aggressive, it's not even fun.
They do, but I love the buzz bait bite.
Well, I mean, I'm religious about a buzz bait.
Sometimes they can blow the buzz bait up. Sometimes they can just suck it. Right
I like the sucks because they typically
don't ever say that on listen, right?
Well,
it's this late, man. Don't ever say that. Yeah, Andrew Murphy in the comments. You better throw that. He got it for my birthday. I might actually catch a fish tomorrow. So let me get back to him. I said buzzbait. Bronson, if you're trying to catch a largemouth, be it pond or big lake, anything, what's the first thing you're going to pull out?
I'm going to buzzbait.
Any particular color? I'm an old school white guy. I'm an old school guy that likes white, but I have found that a lot of guys like black.
Remember, they ain't but two colors of buzzbait, in my opinion. But
is it black and black? Because that's what Andy Middleton was saying.
It's black and white.
Black and white. Okay.
That's it.
Anytime. I mean, which one you gonna throw first, or does it depend?
Depends on the day, but usually I'm gonna throw a white buzzbait.
Okay.
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. All right. What about you there, Ryan? What's your go-to largemouth? Because I know that's what Cooper wanted to know. Spill it.
A horny toad.
A horny toad, and we're gonna get to that. I knew that was coming. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna save the horny toad for.
We'll save that for.
We'll save that for a little bit. Let's get back up because I've got like 10 questions written down, but I'm kind of paraphrasing here the question. Are electronics as important on the topwater bite as they are in other aspects, especially on a big lake like Lake Lanier or Alatoona or any of these highland reservoirs that we got here in North Georgia?
If you're fishing a new body of water, yes. But
and why?
Well, you're looking at your bottom and kind of see what's going on. You're looking for transitions, specifically if you're coming up to a point or something like that, you're wanting to see what side of it slopes up quicker and what side drops off quicker.
Okay.
What side has the longer slope to it that tapers out farther, because typically when you're throwing topwater on points like that and stuff, it's always one or two deals. They're either on that slope side up there active feeding, or they're hanging off on the breaks where it drops off into deeper water quick. And a lot of times bait fish will have a lot to do with it too.
Right.
And if you see bait fish specifically from now on, it's a good thing to throw a topwater. Regardless what time of day it is.
Well, see, that's one thing that Bronson said earlier, though. You talking about fishing brush, throwing it over brush. So do you use your electronics? Let's just say you didn't know that there were 18,322 per acre brush piles in Lake Lanier, which is what I think the average is now. Yeah. I mean, that's about what it is, to be honest. But let's say you didn't know the lake. Is that what you're doing? You're looking, and there's no distinct points. I know if you see a point, you might throw it on, but are you looking for brush on the points? Or
yeah, if I'm not familiar with the lake, I would ride over a point or mark a hump, and if there's a brush pile on it, and 20 foot of water usually during midday, that's storm time. You need your electronics,
Right.
but other than that, I don't never.
That's the only time, just when you're kind of surveying new water like that. So, and that's about the same with you. But Lanier, so you pretty much know what you're targeting anyway, correct?
Sometimes it'll be 10 o'clock and I look down, dang, I ain't turned my graph on.
Yeah.
Well, listen, and that again goes to a lot of
well, we're gonna get into
people.
that more later.
Yeah, we're gonna get in. And they brought their rods and their tackle boxes and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into some of the stuff. We're laying the foundation, people, right now.
We're just trying to help. If anything, you can pick anything and put it in your trophy case to use for a later date.
Yeah. Do you remember the first fish you ever caught on the topwater?
Yes.
Do you remember
and
what it
I
was
will
on?
never forget it.
Okay, well let's hear about it.
The first fish I ever caught on topwater was on a buzz bait, and it was a 5 pound, 4 ounce largemouth on Lake Lanier.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where?
At Thompson Creek Boat Ramp.
At Thompson Creek Boat Ramp. Okay, that's a pretty accessible spot.
Yep.
Just
on a buzz bait.
On a boat. You walk in the bank casting, or
nope,
was you in a boat?
I was fishing out of the back of a boat with a guy who taught me a lot about fishing.
Okay.
And we was going down the bank and fishing, and I threw it over there and threw it up on the bank, and I thought I had made a bad cast because it landed on the bank. And I was like, crap. I was like reeling up real quick, and it got in the water, and it went in the water. And as soon as it got off the bank on the water, it just, and it grabbed it.
Y'all didn't know we had sound effects tonight. So there we go.
Well, I mean, it was like life changing for me because it blew up on it, and I literally like froze. And my buddy in front of the boat, he was like, "Set the hook," And by then, it done had it, ate it, it done hooked up. I just started reeling.
Right.
But I mean, I was like 17 years old, and I was like, I got it in the boat, and I was like, holy crap. And I was like, I want to do that again.
At 17 was your first time catching one on topwater.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting. You're like a late bloomer right there. For a lot of these. What about
bloomer.
You? Do you remember the first one you ever caught, or you just something about when you first started really getting into it?
Back when I was in 10, 12, I guess, at Lake West Point, me and my dad got on them on a 5-inch Rapala.
Right. And that was one thing. I used to throw the old school.
There will be more sound effects.
Yeah.
I get excited.
I know. There is. I'm laughing. I was gonna bring that up because my idea of topwater, and even now I still like it. I know it's very out of style. Is the old school floating Rapala. That's what I called them. But a lot more farm ponds and stuff like that. That's what I grew up fishing.
During the spawn, you can still catch them around docks and in the shallows on that little. That's the funnest bite ever, though. I
think so. The way they swirl. Now, do you like the silver or the gold better?
I like the silver.
You're a silver guy like that? Okay.
Jeremiah, you need to go to Burton and throw a prop bait.
Okay. Well, let's since he's on it right now, go ahead and let's talk about prop baits a little bit. When he says prop baits, we're talking about where it's got the spinners either before or after. I'm sure you've got one. So I'm going to let you reach down and pull them out. And guys, again, you keep the questions coming. I promise you, I am writing them down as fast as I can.
This is a balsa.
And if I forget them, ask it again. Okay. So this is a prop bait. Can you get that up in the camera, or do I need to hold it for them? Okay. Yeah. Pull it up just a little bit. There you go. All right. So that's got a prop on the front and the back. That one's got dual props on the front.
It's got dual props on the front because with a dual prop, I can bend either one of the blades with a pair of pliers, and I can bend this one blade back and this one blade forward. And when I twitch it, it'll stay still. So, but it won't move forward that much. Does that make any sense?
Well, listen.
This is handmade.
I understand what you're saying.
This is handmade.
Let's get into some physics. Let's talk physics here.
Well, when one blade,
so when he goes,
when one set of the blades is facing forward like this, and one set of the blades is facing back like this, when they spin, they counteract to each other. So that when the bait comes forward, it can't go forward. Like if it's just like a boat prop. You know how they're angled back like this. When you kicks forward, it still floats forward more.
Okay.
As you got the boat in idle,
so
prop's not turning that hard.
So what's the point of that?
Well, keeps it in the strike zone a lot better.
Is it very similar to a spy bait?
It's very simple. Well, no, a spy bait, you throw it out there, it sinks, and you reel it back.
But you can keep that spy bait in that because of its props. You can keep it in that strike zone depth wise.
Well, a spy bait's different because a spy bait, you count it down, and wherever you count it down to, depending upon the weight, when you start reeling, it's going to stay in that depth range.
Okay.
This is essentially the same thing, but you just keeps it where it's at.
Okay.
So,
and that's a handmade.
This is a handmade balsa.
Did you make it?
I did not make it.
Okay.
A guy made these for me.
Okay. So you're not going to give his name out, huh?
I'm not going to give his name out. It's personal.
I got it. Yeah.
Me and him don't have any more relations with each other.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I got you.
So, but he made me these.
I understand.
And
it's a very effective bait.
You see, it's got some teeth marks.
I do. Yeah, I do. That's what I'm saying.
It's been 8.
It's been 8.
But this bait, and if y'all have any success on it better, then that's more power to you, and I'm happy for you. I cannot get bit on this bait in stained water.
Okay.
This has to be crystal clear water. And that's why I said, Jeremiah, you need to go up there to Burton and go throw a prop bait if you like to throw a prop bait. Because you will catch 4 and 5 pound spots and sometimes even bigger.
Up there.
They will come up behind that thing, they'll stare at it. And then they'll just open their mouth and grab it.
And just grab it like that? Okay.
Yeah. So it's just it's fun bait to throw. But I don't throw this a whole lot.
Right.
Just in certain situations. This is a hot clear water bait. When it is hot and the fish are not that active.
Okay.
When it's hot, you can tease them to bite with this.
Okay.
So
I wrote down here color. Again, that was a question.
Color what?
Well, that's it. Now I didn't get one of these I didn't get the entire question written down, but I'm going to assume this favorite color. And if you asked a question about color and I'm not asking a proper question, please retype it in the comments. But Bronson, what is your favorite color? Is it? I know you said bone. That's what you threw yesterday. You threw a bone colored spook. Do you try to mimic that in white on a buzzbait? So you stay light more than you do dark colors, or does it depend on where you're fishing?
It depends on where I'm fishing and what the water clarity is.
Okay.
Usually if it's like the lake is right now, I found some clear water yesterday. Not clear, but
clearer.
Not as muddy as most.
Right, you're right. Was it covered in pollen?
Yes.
It's a problem right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, pollen's a little different. So,
but the back of the creeks that I was in was a lot clearer than the river.
Oh, there we go. Favorite color based on water clarity. All right, so I appreciate that. So, again, if I don't ask your question right, it's been a long day. I've been here a long time today. So, so okay, that's what he's wanting to know. So, based on water clarity. So, yesterday you found some clear water on Lake Lanier in the back of a creek. You said.
Yes.
Okay, and so you went with what color?
White.
Oh
no, the bone.
The bone,
yeah.
But that's to represent bait fish and stuff like that. Okay. Eric Thurman asked, how much does color come into play on topwater baits? That's a good question. And again, Eric, thank you very much for bringing it back up. Because here's why I asked this. I grew up. Let me preface this. And then, again, I didn't fish big lakes that much growing up. I was a farm pond boy, that kind of stuff. We threw your standard white, white chartreuse, your snag and Sally kind of things, total chartreuse. And at night we threw black. Mm-hmm. Okay, and getting to know a lot of the anglers here over the last year and a half, I have found that a lot of guys will throw black year round. That's the only color they throw on a buzzbait. It could be right in the middle of the day. And I know somebody said stained water, but they throw it in clear water.
Yeah, you throw it in clear water.
A lot of them do river. A lot of river fishermen do that. So, is it the bait itself, the action, or is it the color?
On the buzzbait, it's probably the reaction because this is making so much rack.
I really don't. Yeah, I really don't think it matters on the buzzbait.
On a buzzbait,
I really don't think it matters.
Okay.
I got a friend that he throws a white buzzbait at night.
And you know why I heard? Listen, and that's good. I'm glad you said that because I heard.
But he won't throw any other color but white.
But well, listen. No, I heard somebody say the bait fish don't change colors at night.
No, they don't.
So he stay. That whether they're throwing a spinner bait or whatever. But a lot of guys will go to your darker colors at night.
They just trying to get that silhouette.
Yeah, but it's still an interesting topic because you can say Why are you doing this? Because that's where I grew up. At nighttime, you threw dark baits.
Mm-hmm.
Daytime, you threw light colored baits. But now I'm seeing cats throwing dark baits during the daytime, light baits at night, or whatever. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you think with the reaction bite on the top water or similar style baits, it really doesn't matter at all.
I just think a buzz bait specifically is a throw it and go get it bait.
Mm-hmm.
You throw it and you're looking for fish. You look at a buzz bait and you wonder why in the hell would they eat that? You know, I mean,
well, listen, I've thought about that on a lot of things here lately. I look at them like looks like nothing in the water I've ever seen. So I totally get that.
On a herring, like to go into that, like on a herring lake, what Michael said, I've seen it where we have cloudy day, no wind hardly at all, and it's slick calm, and they'll still come up and chase the top water like in the middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And you buddy in the back of the boat or in the front of the boat, whatever, he's throwing a solid color like a bone or a white or something like that, and they're blowing up all over it, but they won't get it. Well, to me, it's like, because like one of the things that me and him do, I throw one size when we're looking for fish. When me and him are practicing, I throw one size bait and one color bait. He throws a totally different color bait and a totally different size. It's because we're presenting two different types of presentations, two different colors, two different actions. Mm-hmm. We're covering the same water because we're in the same boat together. So we're seeing, well, if he's in the back of the boat and I literally just casted 5 feet from where he just casted and he gets one to bite it, then it's like, well, one's a fluke, two's not.
Right.
You know, so I mean, if he gets another one and it's like,
pattern.
Snip, cut that thing off and tie on something similar to what he's throwing.
Getting the pattern going.
Exactly. Trying to get a pattern going with it.
Now, do you do that a lot with him, Bronson? Do you see, or are you the one who leads the way and he changes to match you, or are you matching him a lot?
I just go with him usually,
Are you, let me ask you this. Are you, I know he loves top water. So are you the yin to his yang or whatever you want to say? Like you like to throw other things other than top water?
I like top water. I do. The only difference between me and him is he's the river fisherman, shallow water, and I grew up fishing the south end. But I'm transitioning into his ways, and
that's interesting. Now, has he tried to transition to yours any at all? Is he sucks at it, huh?
Yeah, he sucks at it.
So basically, what he's saying is, when the water gets over 20 foot deep, he's got the advantage on top water. He wants to do something. You just have not acclimated yourself to trying to call him up.
We've been down at Three Sisters Island together fishing over one brush pile, dude, and we're throwing the exact same bait, and they're going all over his bait, and I'm sitting there like, what in the hell?
Right.
He got a good one on. I'm like,
but you're doing the same thing.
We're throwing over the same thing. This brush pile's got 4 brush piles on it.
Right.
They're scattered out. It's like, what the heck? But it's one of them things that it's just.
I find that funny. Now, does he? Okay, so you struggle in the deeper water, but now do you struggle now when you go up to the shallow water where he's normally? Or you're picking up?
Pretty much.
So you're having to learn. That's kind of interesting. That top water is different.
When he picks up that horny toad, that's a totally different ball game, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that horny toad. I know that's good grief. I know he loves that thing. So,
It's a producer.
It is a producer. Let's do this. Do you a popper over a walking bait? Which do you prefer?
Depends upon the time of the year. Shad spawn this time of year, I like a popping bait. I like a popper. I got one right here tied on actually.
While you're looking at that, let me make this announcement that I see in the comments. Ron Pendergrass just said that the Busted Knuckle tournament on Lake Allatoona for this Saturday has been canceled as of 15 minutes ago. Ron, is it weather related? The reason I ask is I know Electric Bass Opens has a tournament on Stamp Creek this Saturday as well, and I'm sure there's other tournaments going out of it as well. So if you do not mind, Ron, so that I can pass that on to everybody, if you could give me the reason behind the cancellation of that tournament, I sure would appreciate that so I can pass it on. So anyway, okay, now I just want to make sure I got that out. So go ahead and let's talk about what you were talking about there, Ron. Or do you remember? Do I need to bring it back to you? We're talking about popper over walking bait.
Well, here's the when I say a big popper, this is a big popper.
It is a big
And I'm gonna
popper.
try to swing this thing around.
Now, what kind of rod are we throwing this on?
You had it in frame good a second ago.
A second ago, you like that better?
I'm on him. Or do you want to go on one?
We can no, don't go on me. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Come back to me.
Which way you
It's
want
my
it?
show. Put it back on it. Now try. There we go. Look at that. I look better in the background anyway. It's okay. So first of all, let's talk while we got this big popper out, and I know that's to be determined. I'm not as pretty as you. I'm just lying. But what kind of rod are we throwing this on?
That's a 7-foot medium heavy Dobbins.
Medium heavy Dobbins.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
a 7-3-to-1 gear ratio reel.
Okay. All
And
right.
that is 15-pound P line.
15-pound P line. Okay. And this is a big popper.
That is a Spro EPOP
Mm-hmm.
90, I think is what it is.
Okay.
I can't remember I think it's a 90 or 80. I can't remember what they are. I just know it's Spro.
Well, there you go. Well, you can tell by the eyes it's Spro.
Yeah, it's Spro.
Now, do you like this? Do you like this better? As far as over a walking bait, you like the popper?
No, certain times of the year until the water temperature gets above 72 degrees, then I'll really start going to a more moving bait. That's really moving a lot more.
Okay, all right.
This right there, that bait, you can throw that bait, and
That is the most country thing I've heard said on this show since we started. Right there.
I'll let it slide sometimes. I mean,
Listen. I'm from
you
Georgia,
just-
man. I know it.
you just
That's
gotta
as
watch
Georgia
it.
as it gets.
You
This
just
right
gotta watch
there.
it. By the way, that's the best line they make. By the way,
P line?
I don't care what anybody says.
Okay, all right,
If
there
you're
you
going to
go.
throw if you're going to throw any kind of top water bait, and you're going to throw.
Do you throw P line?
I do now.
He
You do
does
now. Okay. Now, what made you change?
Because I hung a fish over a dock line with 12-pound test line, and it didn't break me off, did it?
Yeah.
Do you ever throw straight braid on any top water?
Whopper, plopper, frog, and
Yeah.
horny toad.
Okay. All right.
I used to throw a top water like a gunfish or a spook or a salmon. I used to throw it on braid.
Okay.
The dang thing gets hung up too much in the wind. It seems like that braid will go limp and the hook will catch it. And then it's just a wounded duck.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
And
Okay.
I just
yes,
don't
I
have
get it.
many mess ups when I'm throwing copolymer or whatever
Right.
when I'm throwing top water.
The Rico and the Megabass Pop Max are the greatest poppers of all time, in Jeremiah's opinion. And I saw Ron Pendergrass said Rico as well. So that's pretty good. And we talked about throwing it on the straight braid. I'm just gonna keep going down this list of
15-pound
questions.
CXX is what I throw. And people will hate it and they dog that stuff.
Why do you think people dog it? It's what? Baling wire? It is some stout wire.
Listen, let me tell you something.
stout,
It's stout.
Okay, but why do you need such stout wire? And I'm not listen. I said wire. Why do you need such stout line?
I got an old school buddy. He calls it string. he says I ain't got heavy enough string on my reel.
That's true. That's true. But,
We're not baling hay.
but you could with that stuff.
You can take P line, have 40 yards of P line, tie that thing around your truck on the hitch ball, and walk around your truck 4 or 5 times and have 80 yards.
Okay, I got you.
It's
Real quick,
swill.
Ron come back and said he did not know why the busted knuckle. See, it's been a long day, man. Busted knuckle tournament has been canceled. So if any of you guys do before this show is over with, find out why. Just let us know. You could tow a battleship with 15-pound P line. Listen, you can. You really can.
And go over rocks.
And go
Over. But you know what? It's a good line. I've used it before. But yeah, you're not gonna throw a Ned rig on it.
No.
You really got you got to have some weight to pull it.
No.
So
That's the only top water baits is the only thing I throw the P line on. It's a personal preference for me because it's never failed me.
right.
And I've
But
been,
has it failed you underneath the water? And I know we're getting off subject a little bit, but you said it's a personal thing for top water.
I've had to throw it when I'm throwing something on the bottom, and it hasn't failed me either.
You just don't like it? Is it just a feel?
Well, it's just I don't like skipping under a jig underneath a dock sometimes after it's been on there for about a month and a half and seeing little curlicues.
Okay, I got you.
I mean,
I got you. Now,
with a topwater bait, it really doesn't matter if it's got curlicues or not when you're sitting out there, because immediately you're going to be putting some toughness in your line anyway. So
Right.
it's really not going to matter. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and Chris Gaten, 15-pound big game for me, and that's what I throw my topwater with when I do throw it. I like big game.
There ain't nothing wrong with 15-pound pig game.
But it's the same thing too. You can throw a battleship with
You
that.
can tell battleship with 15
I mean, if
pound
you
big
hook up a
game.
brush pile, that brush pile's coming to the boat. If you got that stuff right there. Now, what about you? You said you do now. You use the P line now, which means you didn't at the beginning. So, what
No.
did you use, and what made you change?
Berkeley.
Berkeley, and
Berkeley.
Trilene.
Okay.
That was basically what I used all the time.
I've never thrown a
DuPont strand.
DuPont
Yeah.
strand. DuPont strand. But now, what made
I'm
you?
on
What
that
made
oil.
you change?
Ryan.
Okay, did he just gripe you to death
God, I'm such
like
an
a woman or what?
I'm
I
such
mean,
a bad influence. on
well,
you.
no,
No.
not necessarily, but I
No,
could.
he-
You
like
would
I
get on
said-
my nerves though if you were just griping the whole time. I
I
can
don't
see that.
grab.
No,
I know
Proof
you
is in the
don't.
pudding.
I
like
love
I
it.
said, I fished the South End a lot.
So you're coming from the fluoro world and stuff
Yeah.
like
Mine,
that.
by the way.
and throwing spinner baits and fishing more shallow a lot of times. I throw my spinner baits on the P line.
Okay. Right there, real quick. Let me give an update on this live breaking news. So, Busted Knuckle was canceled due to extreme weather, according to Larry Weslowski. So, listen, we have a tournament. I'm gonna be fishing with Chris in Electric Bass Opens. I'm gonna fish with him, and I was looking forward to it. But like I thought, extreme weather was coming today. When I saw last night, I was actually going to go crappie fishing over at Latham, and I saw there was supposed to be this huge line of thunderstorms come through and all that day. And it ain't rained here hardly a drop. And it was perfect when we were out there in the road throwing that rod,
Yeah.
which is what we do here at Fish North Georgia. We were testing a rod that was
Mm.
Ryan was out in the middle of the road casting about a 1 ounce
About a 1 ounce
football
head.
jig on an old Ambassador on a ducket rod. And
That thing squealed like
It
pig
did. It
getting
needs
ready
some
for the
bearing
slaughter.
but
That was awful.
but it was awful, but that's just the way we roll up here. So again, all right, thank you, Stephen, for bringing that, and I guess we'll bear watching those of you that are going to fish for Electric Bass Opens. So hopefully it won't be that bad. Now we got into the size and top line that we're using. So basically, your 15-pound CXXP line.
That's what I like.
That's what you like, and you've been converted from the fluoro to his.
Yeah. And I also throw a lot of braid. He don't like it.
And he don't like it. And yeah, because he's thinking the braid goes limp and gets hung up.
Yeah. Then the leader's going to pop off. I
Okay.
ain't never had a leader.
So you don't tie direct, you don't go braid all the way through. You're still throwing a fluoro leader or something like that. I gotta ask you a question. What knot do you use? Everybody uses a different one.
I don't even know the name of the knot.
You just tie it.
Yeah, a
were.
friend of mine showed me how to tie it.
Well, I find everybody has a name for this, and
It
they're like,
works.
you think it's 10 different knots, and you come to find out everybody's tying the same knot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I tie. I try to tie the Alberto,
Mm,
and is that what you know what I'm talking? You know what an Alberto is?
I do.
Okay, that's what we try to. I tie it poorly,
Do you?
bad, which is you would fuss at me because you would be afraid that the leader would pop off. But
I
evidently,
don't fool with it.
what knot you're doing,
Yeah.
you're good. You're comfortable with it. It don't matter.
I ain't broke the knot yet. I've always had parts of my leader if I hang up and break off.
I don't
Well,
fool.
Now
with it.
I have colored braid on my, and it's mostly for finesse,
Yes.
like that. Does it, if you're going to fish braid on top water, does it really matter?
Nah.
What are you yawning for? You tired?
What?
I look over and you're yawning.
No.
Do you need to go home?
No. I don't need to go home.
Huh?
You know,
Where
Red
you go
Bull.
home?
You need a Red Bull?
We're just
Yeah.
talking about.
I got a Mountain
We're
Dew
talking about
upstairs. I
leader-
brought you a Mountain Dew.
That's like the one thing in fishing that I have no interest in. Is leader knots.
So all of a sudden,
Leader knots.
all of a
It's
sudden he's
just
like, this sucks.
leader. Is that people start talking about leader knots?
And
I'm
he's
just-
over, so I know how to make you leave now when you're upstairs and you won't go. What kind of leader knot you got? I got to go home.
I tie my shit straight to the lure.
Okay.
I don't fool with leaders. If you like to do leaders, then by all means throw your leader.
Now my top water, I do straight braid like on my walking baits, but they do hang on the hooks a lot. not a lot, but
Right.
they
See,
will.
nobody's commenting. I pissed everybody off because I said I don't like leaders.
No, they're just thinking you know they'll come.
See, they're
It'll get
typing
there.
big old long things,
Big
trying
old
to
long things to try to
me
justify
why
it.
you need to go.
Well,
go
I
leader.
understand, but again, that's a new thing to me too. I have never tied. If you were going straight to braid, all the way through, what kind of knot do you tie to your thing?
Double San Diego jam. That's the only thing I throw.
A double San Diego
jam.
You can't. Okay,
Double jam.
a double jam.
Yeah.
All
Double
right.
jam.
Do
double
you
San
do you
Diego
know how to tie a
jam,
double
whatever
San
you-
Diego jam? Do you even
No.
know what he's
seen
talking
me
about?
tie it.
I seen I tie the Palomar knot.
Okay, so you go. Well, see, you know, I watch. Yes, sir.
You know it when you hear it. It's the one that you tie that's got 3 tag ends.
Yes.
Done with it.
Oh well, hell no, my fat fingers couldn't do that. Listen, I can't listen. If you saw these fat fingers trying, this is no lie. I had to get Josh to tie it. Every once in a while, my fingers just don't work, and I'm like, screw it, tie it. Seriously, I'm bad. I'm like, what the hell kind of knot is that? Listen, it's probably like that disco rat, that 5 points topwater rat. You throw one of them,
No.
that pretty purple and chartreuse and all that. So you got the 5 points rat and the San Diego double jam.
Oh, no.
How do you even know what I'm talking about?
No.
I didn't think
I
you
only
did.
tie 2 knots.
So what you're saying is you don't watch the show other than when you're on it.
No, I watched the show. I watched it Tuesday. I don't always get to watch. Some people got to work.
But I don't like that Spro rat that looks like it came from 5 Points.
I have a rat
He's
on
got
my
one.
wall,
Does
and
he,
I have never thrown it.
do you have that purple looking thing?
No, it is gray. It is
I can
actually gray.
listen, I can
gray
accept
rat
that.
or whatever it's
I
called.
accept the gray rat. In
Yeah, it's
nature, there's gray rats.
It's got a pink tail and it's got a gray tail. In the
Okay, I can
box.
accept that.
Yeah.
But this joker,
And you want
I
to know
mean,
where I got it
it looked
at?
like it was a disco party.
You want to know where I actually got it at? Because I did not spend money
Well,
at it.
you didn't buy it here.
I stuck a bait that I had got at a Bassmasters Classic in one of them little bitty vendors that they have. If you ever get to go to Bassmasters Classic, you need to go, by the way.
It's gonna be a Hartwell next
But
year, right?
But I stuck a bait and they have the thing for Lucky Tackle Box or whatever his name is. No, Carl. Who's Carl Von
Carl
Dizzle.
looks like the most
Do you know what I'm
unathletic
talking
angler.
about? Do you know what is it?
Listen,
Mystery Tackle
That
Box?
fat ass sits there with that daggum trout looking clothes on.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell he's making money because there's no way I would buy anything from Carl. He looks worse than me. Seriously, he looks like he walked right out of an office, went down to Dick's, bought him some waiters, and created a tackle company. SOB's a millionaire, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but I stuck a bait that I had got like as a sample, free sample at the Classic, and a couple seconds goes by and out pops this Spro rat, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Y'all need a swear jar. Yeah, we do, Nathan.
I
I'm
was
sorry. What was it? We had a discussion. What was it? The 7 word George
Yeah.
Carlin's 7 words. We actually talked about this.
Twice.
And we talked about it twice up there. We're a third of the way in, I think.
I don't know.
We will not say the big ones,
I
but
won't
we
say
are.
anything
I
else.
apologize. Blake is really going to like, why you get on to me?
I get carried away.
Listen, that Carl guy though, just dollar in the jar. Let's start doing that. I think that's what we'll do. Is I'm gonna put a big old jar right here, and it's going to be
Well, you're drinking out of a jar right now.
yes,
Apple
yeah, but we
juice.
want a
Apple
bigger
juice.
jar. We need a
Apple
big. It's
juice.
apple juice.
Apple juice.
Yeah, right. It's apple juice, but we need that big. I got a big jar, and we'll start charging $1 a swear word. And now, if you want to say the big ones, you got to make a contribution. I ain't talking about like 5 or 10.
Good Lord.
Yeah, no,
I
we
just try
know
not to say
that-
the big ones.
Well, I try not to too, but that way, if Blake gets on here and he gets ranting and rolling, we'll just take his whole paycheck. And look, that's why I said Blake's going to be broke,
Well, you have
and we
to.
will give the money to the veterans each and every month at the end. Yeah, so don't knock the rat, Stephen Bardet. Listen,
I
know.
ain't gonna knock the rat. I ain't never thrown
I'm,
it.
listen, I'm not knocking the rat. I'm knocking that particular color because I know that everything else can have some chartreuse in it and all that stuff, but never in my life have I seen a radioactive rat go flying across the water. Maybe up at what is it, Chickamauga? They got the nuclear plants and stuff like that. California and all that.
Yeah.
Rob Young, I can't come back on. Hey, listen, Rob, you did a real good. That's Rob Young. I love him to death. I actually had somebody go, "How'd you keep Rob from cussing so much?" Because he didn't cuss hardly at all when he was on here. You get him out on the football field, though, you're like, he'll embarrass you. So it's morning dawn, Danny. Listen, I know. Listen, Ron, it's morning dawn, but it's on a rat. You might as well get your kid's teddy bear and stick a daggone treble hook on it and throw it. I can't stand. That's just Whopper Plopper and the disco rat. That's just my take.
We need to talk about whopper plopper.
We'll talk about whopper ploppers
because you need to throw a whopper.
Cheshire Bridge rat. That's exactly right. I'm going to throw a whopper plopper tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Now listen, let me take that back. Jim Farmer painted some knockoffs for us, and I did throw a little one. I didn't catch crap on it. I threw it for about 10 minutes. And did you buy one from me? Okay, good. I mean, because I love Jim Farmer to death, but he had some whopper
This
ploppers.
one right here is money.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Why is that money?
Why is it money? Because
let me have it. Let me have it so I can hold it in front of the camera.
That one's pretty good.
Okay, so this is a what? What's the company?
That's a Chapo.
Oh, listen, hey, I got some of these coming from Berkeley.
That's a Chapo.
I got a bunch of these. I didn't even know. I ordered them. I didn't even know what they look like. Somebody goes, Jesse Millsap was helping me with my order, and he goes, "You really need to get." There we go. He goes, "You need to get the Chapos." I said, "What's Chapo?" He goes, "That's their answer to the whopper plopper." And I said, "How many I need?" He told me, and I just ordered them. Never laid eyes on them. Give it a spin. I'm gonna hook myself.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's a whopper plopper.
Okay, so it's a whopper plopper. All right, so what makes this money?
What sound does a whopper plopper make?
Yeah, come on, what Ryan, do it. You're the man of many talents. I can't even.
Loud. It's
10 minutes, you didn't even give it a chance. Listen.
My best bait imitation is buzz bait. Someone I seen a dude. Bronson will tell you this. We was with him. We was fishing, fishing before this is quick. We was fishing the Skeeter or we was fishing the same day as the Skeeter Trail. We was fun fishing, and this dude comes in the pocket that we're fishing, and I know when you get mad when you're fishing, you can just tell someone's mad. That dude was throwing a buzz bait, and I'm talking about it was. I mean, it was just. I mean, all you hear. I mean, that was. And I look over my shoulder, and I'm like, dude, he's whipping that thing. I'm like, just whipping the blades. This is fast as the blades will turn. I was like, that dude ain't caught no fish.
Well, okay, so somebody made a comment. Up there, and that is true. Now I'm gonna have to. I know I knocked the rat, but I do throw from time to time a bubblegum trick worm. And he said up there, if they'll hit a bubblegum trick worm, they'll hit the rat. I get it. I don't know why they hit a bubblegum trick worm. I can't explain why they hit a methylate. Paul, did you get any bites on that methylate that you got from upstairs? You caught one on methylate today. Was you fishing it weightless? Neko. Okay. All right, good. It's Neko. I always thought it was Nico. There you go. All right. So is it okay? What is that one?
That's a whopper plopper.
Let's see. We don't want to talk about that. We
And
just want to talk about Chapos because I got them coming. Chapos on this
that's
show.
That's the whopper plopper 90.
Is that what Murphy got me?
When I'm going, no, that's the River to Sea. That's the whopper plopper.
Is that what I got up there?
That's a Chapo.
No. What I got upstairs?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Okay, well, Andrew Murphy is still in the box. Tell me what you bought me up there.
Well, what I was getting
what I'll be throwing
is
tomorrow.
If I'm going to go start throwing the whopper plopper, this is going to be the first one that I tie on the 90.
And why is that?
Just because it's a little bit smaller of a profile. And when you're throwing the whopper plopper, you got to visually see them get the bait, in my opinion. And this is what your problem is. You have to visually see them come get it in order for you to have confidence in it. Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's the craziest thing in the world to throw.
Well, I just always heard that and this is the honest truth, and I'm not making this up. I always heard that the hook ratio or the hook setup was poor on a whopper plopper.
Who told you that?
Just a lot of guys that I'd heard fish that just
people trying
they were getting bites like crazy. They were always getting bites, but they were missing the hookups.
Size is wrong.
The size of the bait itself, or the hook?
Yes, is the bait.
Okay, why?
Because they're feeding on bigger or smaller bait fish, depending upon what size bait you're throwing.
Well, what would that? Okay,
when they get this bait, they have this bait in their throat. Do they not? I mean, it is the most vicious blow up you could possibly get is on a whopper plopper.
I just don't see how. I don't understand why you would get anything more vicious on this than you would on a typical buzzbait.
I don't know. I have never had one come up behind me on a whopper plopper.
Paul is speaking. What, buddy?
They murder a whopper.
They murder a whopper plopper.
I think they're trying to kill it.
Yeah.
Like they're like, get the heck out of here.
Have you had this experience? Do you throw these things?
I throw the wall plopper not as much as Ryan does.
Right. Now, but what?
If you've never watched one in clear water, hunt that bait.
Yes.
And just break loose on it.
I'm talking a 2-pound spot, dude.
They're so mad at that thing.
A 2-pound spot will blow up, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, I got a big one," and it is not. It's like a two. It is a keeper.
Listen. I think you're over. I think you're over exaggerating.
No, listen. You will throw that thing.
Look, Stephen Bardet, most vicious topwater bite ever. I hate that thing too, but it does get vicious strikes. Of course, Dalton says it's pulling it away from them. Sounds like, and that might be it. Okay, so all right, so tomorrow,
that's why
guys,
I throw it on mono.
You throw it on mono?
Yes.
Okay, so tomorrow, I've got mono rigged up, but I was gonna throw some swim baits tomorrow.
Okay.
Now let me ask you though, like tomorrow, we're just gonna go pre-fish hickory log, just for craps and giggles. I want to save that dollar I got. You would throw that over a swim bait right now with them even being on bed, because you know there's gonna be some on bed.
Dude, if you throw this thing over a bed, they will chase it down.
Okay, name me this. And this, listen, I don't have any faith in that bait, but I'm gonna try it tomorrow. But let me ask you this: I know you guys are getting ready to come up with 100 examples, but name me one. And I'm asking because I don't know. Name me one big time major tournament that was won on a whopper plopper.
I know major 100-pound bag that got caught on it, but
I don't know. Listen, I want to know that second place is first loser. I want to know. Listen, seriously.
I know Chris,
and
Lane
I know some of these guys are going to answer that.
I know Chris Lane caught 101 pounds on a whopper plopper at Toledo Bend and got second place to Kevin Van Dam.
And what was Kevin Van Dam throwing?
He was throwing a crankbait.
Okay, there you go. So therefore, it wasn't.
But Chris Lane almost got him.
I don't care. He almost is no good. MLF has had rounds won on it. Okay, rounds. Only time I caught a fish with a whopper plopper was at hickory log.
There you go. That should boost your confidence up.
Good grief, you can catch them on a booger at hickory log though. They're all going to be 12.5 inches. Seriously, it is going to be a pecker fest tomorrow. I'm just being. It is.
The first time I ever went to hickory log and fished, we caught 40 fish, and I bet we caught one that was 5 pounds. The rest of them were like this big.
That's no lie.
It was crazy.
And that's what I'm saying is that okay. So episodes of MLF. Now again, I don't watch professional fishing. I'm just starting to do it, guys. So listen, you're gonna have to be gentle with me on this. Now MLF, that's where it goes by the number of fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, great. A guy catches 300 dinks. It's not as exciting to me as a guy that goes in there and catches 5 10-pounders.
Well, you're in the same boat as me.
So the MLF thing, okay, I get it. So basically, you're back to the pecker fest at hickory log. It's just like Yahuwah.
I care less if I go back to hickory log.
But that's what I'm saying is you can go over, and a lot of guys can go over to hickory log. Have you ever fished hickory log? I know you're a big lake guy, so there's parts of hickory log that fish like a big lake, but you got to go through 552 12.5 inch bass that weigh 0.0 or 0.97. They don't even weigh a pound to get to that one big one. So if it catches fish, that's not the quality fish I want. If these are these vicious strikes, you would use if you're going for a like on hickory log, because I mean that's what we're talking about right now. And you big lake guys don't shag out on us just yet. But if you're going to hickory log tomorrow and you need one fish, let's say you're fishing a one fish tournament. Are you throwing? I don't care how hard they hit it. Are you throwing a whopper plopper, or are you going to throw a jig or something like that?
I'm not throwing a whopper plopper or a jig.
Okay, but you're not throwing a whopper plopper. Is what I'm getting at. I use that.
I won't throw one like that's not like my confidence bait to like try to get a big one.
What about you?
No.
What
he don't like it. He throws it and he's caught some fish on it,
but you don't like it.
He'll sit there in the back of my boat. He's like, I hate throwing.
Okay, what about it that you don't like? And I just give people a hard time. I've never really fished it. I'm going to try it tomorrow. I just think the name whopper plopper sounds kind of
plop it. It ploppers.
It just sounds kind of whopper plopper. Listen, hey, what's the name of this new bait we got? Let's call it the whopper plopper.
That's river to sea for you.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Now, what about the whopper plopper, chopo, or whatever, this type of bait do you not like?
I just don't have no confidence in it. I know Ryan catches a lot of fish. I've caught fish on it. I got a friend of mine that I take occasional fishing with me after work, and he keeps one tied on year round.
That's an interesting thing. It was originally a muskie bait. It had been downsized for bass.
Makes sense.
Well, you know, tell you what makes sense.
Bait, so that thing was that
Listen,
big. That thing wasn't going
like a North Korean, yeah, like a submarine that surfaced up. Come on,
you'd be looking across the lake, somebody throwing the muskie style. What?
But if you're a muskie fisherman, everybody knows that muskie fishermen fish for like 3 bites a year. You know, you don't go just all horse, but you don't just go out and catch a bunch of muskie. To catch a trophy muskie, you can fish for that one fish, that one bite all year.
Babe Winkleman said, all you got to do
Winkleman.
Banjo Minner.
Is that Banjo Minner and Babe Winkleman? Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Is he still alive? Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed his show. But he's just a big old teddy bear looking joker like that. It's funny. We were talking about all the old, what was it, Orlando Wilson up early? Orlando was his hat. I can't even put my hat up that high.
He says,
do that DuPont strand thing you did up there.
Huh?
What'd you say?
He said, if you need the quality to connect you between you and the fish, you need to throw DuPont quality string.
That is exactly spot on.
And he put while he's backing his boat down with his Astro.
You're just
like,
that's back in the day. I love it.
When is this? 78?
Yeah. But he always wore a Braves hat.
Yes.
He used to live
from Atlanta.
He used to live on Highway 92 in Carter's, between Roswell.
He was born in Grady Memorial
in Woodstock,
in Atlanta.
Well, good for him. So, but he had that lake out in the front. 92. I don't know if he still lives there or not.
I don't know either.
I wonder what professional guys, when they own their own lakes, if they stock them. I mean, like, get really scientific.
Talk to Jimmy Houston. He's got his own lake.
He's got that deer too. I hope his wife's doing well. I think his wife's good.
I think so too.
Okay.
I just hate watching Jimmy Houston outdoors, and he's like, "Oh, I got big in his own spinnerbait." He's catching like 5-6 pounders like left and right. I'm like, there are no fish in his little pond that is like under 3.
Oh, listen, you know he feeds them and stuff.
He's got to feed them because like you watch Jimmy Houston outdoors, and he's like, "I got a big one on a spinnerbait," and you're like, "Dude, I die to catch fish like that on a spinnerbait."
Listen,
he just boat flipping 5 and 6 pounders.
I like Jimmy Houston. I like Jimmy Houston.
I hope his wife gets better.
I hope his wife gets better. I just the haircut. He's wore that haircut successfully for a long time. There's only a few people in this world that can pull off the bowl haircut. Jimmy Houston's one of them. Bowl cut. It's what do you think about his hair? I know you didn't expect to talk about Jimmy Houston's hair. Somebody's gonna say, "Hey, what'd you do on the show last night?" Well, we talked about Jimmy Houston fashion tips and stuff like that. Okay, so tomorrow I'm actually gonna go throw. I will throw the River to Sea Whopper Plopper that Andrew Murphy.
And when you get a bite,
Murphy gave to me.
Send me a picture.
He's got hair. He's got the hair. That's absolutely.
How much longer do we have?
You ready to talk?
No, I just didn't know.
You got a bedtime?
No, I don't got a bedtime.
Huh?
I don't have a bedtime.
Is that your wife buzzing you every 5 seconds?
No.
Is that his wife over there buzzing at you?
My wife.
Listen, if you got a curfew, I ain't gonna let you come back.
My wife is snuggled up with our 2 dogs.
That's what she wants you to think.
No, she's not watching TV. She's watching TikTok. That's what she does. She's watching. Yeah. We're not even gonna go there. So I know your wife's a good woman. That's the ultimate pawn. Yes,
he does have the ultimate pawn. But when you're that good, you know, I've been reading the comments.
You're that good at promoting.
That's it.
And entertaining.
Entertaining.
You have a pond full of 7 pounders.
You think that I would have that, but I don't have that either. I got a duck pond in Latham in the front yards. My wife's got a duck pond. I got to go put a ball valve on that thing.
Oh Lord!
Listen? There's some nasty things in this world. A duck pond that don't drain is right up there amongst them.
We're talking about muskie over here.
They're talking about muskie, and I'm reading in the comments like that. But somebody put it's a fish of 1,000 casts, and that's what I'm saying. To get a trophy, you got to work for one of those.
That's what Jeremy Wade said. He said it was a fish of 1,000 casts.
Who's Jeremy Wade?
River Monsters.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, that's right. That joker catches some gnarly fish too.
Some crazy fish. That dude has some patience.
He's got some patience.
he'll stay out of the river for 3 weeks.
Like in the same spot. He's got that line just click, 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 click.
Fish on. That's all you read.
And he pulls up something that's got human teeth on it. So, well,
Exactly
I don't know if this is what ate the girl's toe off, over there, but it certainly is in the category.
That dude got malaria. He got malaria in Africa, and he survived.
Well, they got antibiotics and stuff over there.
No,
nowadays,
he
don't
was.
they?
He was like.
Was he back in the bush?
He was 3 weeks from civilization when he got malaria.
But he had.
You can read it in his book.
Okay. All right, we will do that.
They have footage of them getting in a plane crash. In South
Yeah, he got in a plane crash. He had a boat flip over, capsize on him when he was in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Dude, he's been through some stuff.
He has. Real quick, pray for Jimmy Houston's family. Yes, and that's what we're kind of. I hope his wife is getting better. I know that there's some situation. I didn't read. I was really busy today, but yeah, that's the situation. As always, definitely need to do that. Listen, River Monsters is overhyped. Look, there comes Jeremiah. Jeremiah's like, but he can't daggum skip a 10-inch drag maft or whatever mag draft under the rocks over there. But he does. Listen, he is patient. You're right. Now, if I had his patience, I might catch some fish. But he fishes in some mud holes and all that. And he brings up some wicked fish. But you have to admit the figure 8 maneuvers at the boat are cool as heck. That's the musky thing. Have you ever seen people do that?
Yeah, I've seen videos of it.
And they do that, and the fish is just looking at it like, oh hell, it's going in circles now. Let's hit it.
You can do that on Lanier
With a spot.
Yeah.
You got it on film?
No.
Let's
but
film.
if I ever do it, I can try to get it on film.
Get it on film. Think that'd be interesting. All right, so listen.
They'll do it with a whopper plopper.
You ain't gonna do it with a whopper.
They'll do it with a whopper plopper.
No, they won't.
They'll do it with a whopper.
No, they won't. All right, listen. Enough of that crap on the whopper plopper. We might try.
They'll chase that thing. They'll be like, "Oh my god!" And then they see you, and they're like, "Oh, that ain't real." And then they leave.
Horny toads.
Okay.
The horny toads. Now I used to make fun of you.
I know.
Because you throw a horny toad in December.
No.
Yeah, you would.
No. Throw in December.
Okay.
That is my
November 31st.
That's my bread and butter.
Right.
After I get a limit, that's all.
And tell everybody out there what exactly a horny toad is and how you're throwing it and why you're throwing it. Because God knows this ought to be interesting.
Everybody probably knows what a horny toad is. It's bait Zoom makes, top water. You can fish it any way you want to. There's really no wrong way of fishing.
Do you fish it weightless?
I fish it weightless.
Okay.
I have my rod and reel set up over here.
Well, let's pull your rod and reel set up like that, and we'll look at this thing too. Because listen, we used to give him a hard time because horny toad or ribbit, and why?
I don't like a ribbit.
I'm gonna hold it up, Paul. Can you get me a?
I don't prefer a ribbit. I don't prefer anything with the paddle tails.
Okay, so the ribbit has the paddle tail.
Yeah, ribbits have the little paddle tails on the back. So's the gambler cane toad, and the new Zoom frog that they have has the little bitty paddle tails on the back.
Do I need to hold it up to a different camera?
Just flip it over.
What do you want me to flip it over for?
It's because it's the way it's held. No, keep going. Keep flipping. All right.
We're still on the wide right now.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we're on a wide. What are you doing there, dude?
There you go.
Oh, what the hell? I'm holding a rod.
All right,
Okay.
you ready?
I'm
All right.
ready now. According to him, I'm ready. We've got it to where he wanted
You
it.
was showing it.
Is it?
where
Do you have a
was.
product endorsement on here somewhere
No,
that I'm
I
not
do
missing?
not. No,
I
do
mean,
not.
seriously, you getting money
I
for
do
this?
not.
Take it towards the wall about 3 inches. Perfect.
This way or that way? Oh, there we go. Look at there. Okay. Wrong way, back. There we go. Listen, I'm not a professional at this. We're doing this. They go down, so you got to go opposite. So whatever I do, I got to go opposite. But right there is a Zoom white horny toad.
Yes.
We're throwing this on a what? 6 gill?
This is a 6 gill Miyaka 7.3 medium heavy rod. It's one of their custom runs. It has a softer tip, but it has a lot of backbone. It has the backbone of a 7.3 heavy, but it has the tip of a medium action rod.
And it looks to me like you got braid tied all the way to this.
65 pound braided line. Suffix 832, 65 pound braid with a 5/0 owner 53 182.
Now you sound like a NASCAR guy.
Screw lock.
Okay. Screw lock
with
hook
a center and pin.
with a center pin.
And
okay.
it's weightless. It's not a wide gap because you got braid, you got a heavier action backbone rod, and you will actually bend the hook. You will flex the hook.
Okay.
If I've experimented with that hook for,
Just gonna lay it down right there.
I've experimented with that hook with a bunch of different hooks for about 6 years, and that is the one that is my go-to. That is the only hook that I throw it on. I do not throw it I do not throw it with a weight. I don't throw it with anything. I know some people like to do it have to wait and stuff. If you get a high quality reel, that is a Revo Rocket SX. That is
Which
a 9.
we will have here at Fish North.
That is a
Georgia
9
shortly.
1-to-1 gear ratio reel.
Yeah, I'm getting the 10 to the 10 to 1.
You're getting the Rocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got it ordered. If that boat will get out of the way of the Suez Canal. Did they get that boat out of the way yet? I mean, I got, huh? A week ago.
Listen, finally got it moved.
Okay, well, I got motors and I'm waiting on some stuff now. Okay, they were killing me.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried the Owner Beast hook?
Too heavy.
Too heavy for this. All right. Do you throw this same? I mean, do you throw that bait right there?
Yes.
Okay. Has he made you a believer in this bait?
Yes.
Kinda. No, that was a guy. Okay, so that you didn't fully commit.
It's got its time and place.
I want before because I know he's gonna get long winded on it. I want to hear you. I know you are. Yeah, you are because I'm gonna make you tell your secrets. So hold on. No.
Well, I'll get into it later.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. I want to hear this man speak because you and I talking enough. He bless his heart. He ain't getting a word in right there. All right. It has its time and place for you. What's the time and place?
During midday when it's hot and the fish are hunting cover, when they're in the cover,
okay,
like under docks, under trees.
You skipping that under a dock, or you just rolling it up beside it?
Well, I roll mine up beside it. I can't skip like Ryan though.
Okay,
he's a professional.
You and I are in the same boat.
I hit boats and he hollers at me. That's somebody's boat. We're hitting the dock.
No,
he's hitting $100,000 boats. Bam.
So
I'm like, everybody in the community knows around here now.
But I will say this because when Jonathan Farmer was teaching me up there on Notley, I'd hit somebody, or he would hit somebody, go bang, he'd go dinner bell. Yeah. So that's all you got to look at that way. Dinner bell.
I say that every now and again.
Dinner bell.
Ding, ring the dinner bell.
Dinner bell. So, you're targeting the exterior with this. So, in your experience, how are the fish reacting to it? Are they hunting it out of the shadows, or what are they doing?
Basically in the shadows. Because he's in the front of the boat, he's got a better chance. He can flip the tip. I'm in the back of the boat usually, and I got the console, the motor.
Right.
So I really can't get up in there. So when he gets to the walkways, when he throws it up in there, and that's where usually the big ones, the biggest ones we catch on a horny toe comes from, and they annihilate it. Okay. When they hit it, it's a good one. I always drop what I'm doing, grab the net.
Or you'll get fussed out.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, like we got. So what we got here is a married couple. All right, okay, I got what we got going on here.
He's never gonna live. He's never gonna live it down.
So what's interesting is this is a Lake Lanier.
This is an everywhere bait.
Yeah, but you throw it on Lake Lanier.
I throw it on every lake.
I know you do, but not many people throw it on.
There's
Lake
a
Lanier.
reason you throw this bait.
There's
a reason I throw the bait on Lanier.
Okay, why are we throwing?
This is
you know why? Do you know why?
He catches.
Just because it catches fish. That's what. All right.
This is a reaction bait.
Okay. You gonna give me something a little more deeper than that?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
It is a brim imitator. It is a crappie imitator.
Looks like a frog.
I know. But when you're throwing it on a 911 gear ratio reel and you're throwing it on the bank and reeling it off the bank as fast as you can, they don't see that. They just see it and they go get it.
Okay.
And they annihilate it. But the bites come out of nowhere. I mean, they just literally come out of nowhere. But your shady banks, your shady pockets, like an overhanging tree, if you take that bait and skip it underneath that overhanging tree and hit the bank with it and immediately start reeling it off, you'll grab it.
Right.
And it's there. And, they're hanging out in the shadows. Everyone knows, bass are opportunistic feeders. And especially in the summertime when it's hot, they become extremely opportunistic.
Gotcha.
So if something makes a wrong move and something is in the wrong place and it's coming from the wrong direction than it should be, they're going to get it. They're going to go try to eat it because it's a quick meal. It's a bigger profile, and an easy meal to get. But I throw that brim beds, docks that have crappy around them, docks that have brim.
Change colors? Or
I only throw white.
you think white is sufficient?
I don't ever throw anything different.
He thinks they shouldn't even make no other colors.
I don't think they should make any
It
other
was
color
interesting.
horn
It's
toad.
interesting. Do you only throw it close to shore or docks?
I throw it in the backs of pockets.
What about where he
Uh,
likes to fish out over a deep brush pile?
I've never thrown it
We
over.
haven't done it, but I see where it would work.
Okay.
Because it's see the deal with that is, and this is my personal opinion on it. You're going back in here in these shallow pockets, and that thing don't make no noise when it hits the water. It's plastic. It doesn't make any noise. There's no weight. There's nothing to it. It doesn't make any noise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a silent. It hits the water. It doesn't hardly make any noise, and they think it's something natural.
Right.
And you're trying to make as long of a cast as you can. The biggest key, if you're gonna go throw this bait right now, your biggest key you need to focus on is trying to take that bait and throw it on the bank and pull it off the bank.
Pull it off the bank.
Yes, that is where it needs to come from.
And at what speed?
Just
What speed are
that
we bringing it?
fast.
So you just
This is a
basically
9:1 gear ratio reel, so you're just keeping.
But you're not burning it.
I'm not really burning it. No, because I've had it. Because some days they'll want that thing, as fast as you can, this fast. Some days they want it like this,
Right.
where the legs are barely kicking.
They'd like to know what the hook was again that you got on this thing.
That's a owner 5/0 center pin screw lock. It's a 53. I can't remember what the exact name of it is. 53 118, I think is what it is. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But
It's like a NASCAR guy.
it's
We
one
need to
of
get him.
the-
He needs to take a sip of Coke while he's saying that.
Yeah.
it's a 5/0. It's the shorter sink. It's not the extra wide gap. It's a
Right.
stouter hook. It's a little bit stouter of a hook, and it has a centering pin in it. You just Texas rig it and bed it, and
Why can you not throw that nose hooked with a smaller hook?
I can't because you're skipping underneath docks, you're skipping underneath trees,
Okay,
you're throwing it in blowdowns.
for the skipping aspect.
You're
but
throwing it in blowdowns.
if we were over in big water and you were just throwing it over a brush pile out in 25 foot, you could nose hook it just as fine, wouldn't you think?
Be just fine.
Just fine there. Okay, now here's the next question. Now, let's say they come up and you say they engulf it.
Mhm.
Are we Shark Week when we're setting the hook, or what are we doing?
You are setting the hook. You are trying to turn that thing's head.
So we're Shark Week.
Yes.
So you're trying. I mean, you could very possibly break a rod. You're wanting to set the hook that hard.
The boat rocks when I set the hook.
So you're not reeling into this one.
No.
Is
When
that
they
the pro-
get it, they get it.
Is that the proper way, though? I mean, is that the way you think? I mean, you do the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it required though? I mean, is it just because you've got to force that hook?
It's a big hook.
Okay,
It's a big hook.
right?
And I don't care who you are. You can't exert as much force on a hook point as people think they can.
You think that's a misnomer that a lot of people say you can do too much?
Well, let's just put it to you like this. If we took that off right there with that rod and you went over there and stood 30 feet away and you put your finger in that center of that hook like this and held on to it like this, and I set the hook, I couldn't move you from where you are. Your arm would only do this. Even if I reared back and snapped you.
Okay, that would be a good experience. I mean, a good experiment. I mean, we get some gloves. Just no, I mean seriously though, because I don't want to get hooked, and nobody's pulling that thing out of me like I had to do Blake. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
you're wanting to set the hook hard on that because you got to get through the plastic, because that's a thick piece of plastic.
Yes, it is.
And that essentially you setting the hook hard is you're getting it through the plastic. How many times we caught them and the hook's just barely out and they've got the hook in there and they just got the needle point of the hook in their mouth, but they won't let go of it.
Just
they refuse. They'll refuse to let go of it. And you get that fish up in the boat and the hook falls out. And you're like, I should have lost that fish a long time ago, but they won't let go of it.
Just the bait itself.
Yeah.
It's just that natural
They
feeling.
just want, I think once they commit to it, they're going to hold on to it regardless what something's pulling them away.
Gotcha. All right, couple of things in the comments. First, JT Fishing. I just ordered something from Carl's Monday. They were the only ones that would ship in time. Hey, listen, I'm sure they're a fantastic business. I'm definitely not knocking their business aspect. I just think that the owner could, or maybe he maybe he does that on purpose, the way he just dresses. But he just looks like a fool sometimes. So that's it. So I definitely, I'm sure they're a great company like that. I go back to the comments real quick. Now here's the thing I wanted to. You throw a horny toad on a buzz bait, and a lot of guys I know will take the skirts off of a buzz bait. They'll put a horny toad like that, or a lot of them now are using like a paddle tail fluke, a bigger shad style bait. Have you ever used that either as a trailer or as the skirt / bait itself on a buzz bait?
I have.
Any success with it?
Yeah, but I just can't. I can't skip it where I want to skip it.
So you don't like fishing it that way. I mean, it works, but you don't like fishing.
Yeah, it works. I'm not going to sit here and argue about it at all. It works.
So you're throwing this bait though. You either put it on the bank on the bank out of pockets, or you're trying to get it under docks.
Yes.
So that's a structure.
So basically, you got your dock right here, like this, and you've got your boat in the dock, and you got your floats.
Yes.
Well, there's that opening up in the front, in between that dock where that boat lift is.
Yeah.
That's where Mama is. That's where she lives.
You think so?
No, I know so.
Okay.
I know she lives underneath there. Because she's protected up underneath there. She's got the boat lift. She has nowhere or anybody. It takes a real good caster or angler or whatever to get a bait in there where that is. Jeremiah, he wouldn't have no problem. He wouldn't have no problem at all.
Jonathan wouldn't, and I'm sure there's a lot of
and anybody who can, and anybody who fishes docks, and I'm not saying it with a horny toad. I'm saying with a jig, a shaky head, wacky rig, whatever.
Right.
If you're fishing a dock, if you're fishing a lake that's got docks and they've got that open slip right here where that boat's pulled up, and you have that open end right here where the dock is, and you're sitting there looking at it, you're like, man, if I throw something in there, it's gonna get hung up. There's a reason Mama's in there.
Gotcha.
So if you can get a bait in there, then that was where that is the heart of the dock. That is the safest part of the dock. She knows that there's stuff around her that is protecting her. But when the bait comes in there, she's very unmolested and she's going to be more curious about it.
Okay.
And you will skip that thing. I skip that thing up underneath there and it'll get up in there and you can't even get your reel cock sometimes. And it sounds like a volcano has erupted.
Oh, they're hitting it that fast. Just they're reacting to it that fast.
Because it just comes in there, slides in there, and all it just underneath that dock.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, and I mean, all you can do is set the hook. And you're like, God Almighty.
Do either of you find spotted bass or largemouth are more apt to hit this?
Both.
It's about 50-50.
About 50-50, really? Seriously? Yeah. Okay. I would think.
I've seen a spot come 30 yards down the bank, come hit that.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day. He was with me.
In shallow water, you see the wake where
it come. It was like a 2.5 pound spot.
Annihilated.
Grabbed it.
So this is why you like fishing it so much.
Yeah. Because it's fun.
Okay.
He's addicted to the frog.
He's addicted to, well, I know. I knew that of all the things we were going to talk about, I could have gone wherever we were going to go. And we were going to come back to this at some point.
It's real addictive when you throw over the back of this little blowdown that you see little bitty brim in. Yeah. And all of a sudden the brim go because one comes up and grabs it.
Well, let me throw you a curveball. Not everybody that watches us fishes a big lake or fishes dock.
No, it don't matter because when me and Bryson fished that SWAT, that's all I threw all year.
Okay, that's what you threw. You threw a horny toad.
He threw a fluke in the front of the boat, and I threw that. And then if we figured out who was running, who was getting more bites when me and him fished SWAT, then we swapped. I ran the front, he ran the back, depending upon who was getting more bites.
Okay, so what about
on Hickory Log? This is what me and him on Hickory Log, I said we caught 40 fish and 1 5-pounder. That's what the 5-pounder come on, and about 20 other fish came on. So the rest of the fish all came on a fluke.
So you're saying I should have that on tomorrow? Is it time of year?
It's really
bass are going on bed.
I caught one on it Sunday.
Okay,
and it was underneath the dock, and I stared at her and I seen her. And I skipped that thing up past her nose, and she turned away on it. She turned up and she ate it. She was sunning herself underneath the dock.
Is it more effective under dock right now than a wacky rig?
No, because right now you're gonna have to see them fish for that.
So if you were going to a dock and he was throwing a wacky rig, would you let him take and you needed to catch a fish for a 5 fish limit? Would you say, hey, throw under there first, or you take a shot?
I probably throw that first. Because if there is one underneath there, you're going to grab it anyway. It's going to grab it anyway if it wants to eat it.
But if it's not on top, do you ever let that thing sink down? Do you ever fish it underwater?
I don't.
What about you?
I do sometimes, and I get hollered at. But
when you do fish,
you make me sound so bad.
when you do fish it underwater, how do you fish it? Texas rig, like with the regular?
Just the same, but I just slow it down, let it fall. And then I'll just swim it. I keep the speed going, so it keeps it at the same plane.
Count it down to a certain thing, and then let it go. Is there ever a time? And this is a dangerous question with you. Is there ever a time you say, there's no way in the world a frog's going to work? There's no sense even pulling it out.
Yes.
Okay.
When the water's too muddy.
So it's not a muddy water bait.
I don't have much success on it. They got to be a couple feet of
This is a
visibility.
sight. This is a sight bait.
Well, it don't make a whole lot of noise. I've been in a swimming pool and had one of them things drug across me. The only thing you hear is on the water.
So you had somebody throw it out and you just wanted to hear yourself.
You
were doing research.
He wanted to go eat it.
Huh?
He wanted to eat it.
No, I did not. No, I'm trying to learn the bait. Is trying to understand why they done what they done and with it.
What's the trophy and the medal for? All right, so
that's Jeremiah's.
No, it's actually listen. 2019, the stars aligned, and Josh and I actually won a tournament. This is our first place trophy. This is Josh's and his medal. Mine are sitting at home. I actually have the cigars still that we smoked because blind hog finding an acorn. Seriously, we smoked cigars like crazy. Made a lot of guys mad because they thought we were being cocky. We were like, this ain't gonna happen again, boys. We're celebrating it. But he brought it. He brought it from home, so we got this. So it's something cool. Electric Bass Opens. They give away trophies on their thing, and so Josh thought it would be either that or his wife told him he had to get it out of the house, and he brought it here. I don't know, but that's what it's for. The one day that the stars aligned on Rocky Mountain right there. So, have you ever won a tournament throwing a frog?
Yes.
Okay, give me something. I mean, what was it?
It's just a little pot tournament.
But you have had success just throwing a frog.
Yeah, but I don't really throw it to catch a limit on.
Your trophy.
It's not really a limit bait. There's days where you'll catch a bunch.
Tim White, that's to prove Danny caught fish once. That's exactly right. Once. One day we did.
Yeah, horny toad is a toad, not a frog. But whatever.
What did I say?
You keep calling it frog.
I did, or somebody else?
I don't know. It don't matter. You always say I call it a frog.
It is a frog.
It's a toad.
No. Toads are dry land. Frogs are in water.
Okay.
Toads are on land.
It's patent. It's got a patent number.
I don't give a dang what the patent says, but
the name is horny toad.
A toad is dry land, and a frog is in water. They both start off in water. A toad, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys out there can correct me, a toad converts out. They're the brown things you step on at night in the summertime to scare the hell out of you.
Horny toad's a lizard, I think.
Yeah, so see, they ain't even daggum. See, look.
It's whatever. It's what Zoom calls it.
Well, there you go. That's all you need to know right there. So, sitting in a pool to listen to lures sounds a lot like hooked to the head. Yeah.
Hey, you need to understand what you need to listen to a spinnerbait in a pool. It'll blow your mind.
Go on.
Yeah.
How many baits
going.
have you had thrown at you in a pool?
Well, first of all, so it's one of your former partners or your wife does this?
No, this was.
Do you ever just look at baby? Let's go throw some stuff in the pool.
No, this was actually my uncle done it with me at my aunt and uncle's at his house. They
are both amphibious animals, Michael. You're absolutely right, but I think the toad spends more time on dry land.
When it's,
I could be wrong. I'm making crap up. Is your wife calling you again?
No, I was just looking at my phone.
I know you are. You are addicted to your phone. You're like my 20-year-old son.
Sorry.
Can't put it down. I don't care. I'm just messing with you.
If you, and this is in all seriousness, if you have the ability to do it,
get in the pool,
and do it, you need to do it and listen to the baits.
Is it
the crankbait is loud. It'll really make you think real long and hard about throwing a crankbait with a rattle and a crankbait without a rattle. I know we're going down a rabbit hole.
No, let's go down the rabbit hole.
I'm just saying it will really, because like a square bill in a pool, it's like it gets in there and it starts going, and immediately as it starts wiggling, click, 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 it's loud, dude. Like it sounds, it's like you can close your ears under the pool like this, and you can still hear it knocking.
Can you feel it?
We don't have that kind of feel. Because
I'm just curious. That's what I'm saying. I'm just curious. So I know we don't have lateral lines and all that, but I'm just saying if it went by, could you feel the vibration? But you're more hearing it.
Nah,
with your natural.
I mean, I'm sure if you got close enough to it, I guess you could.
Did you ever get buzzed? I mean, like really, not buzzed as in buzzed, but buzzed as like it come by your head.
No, I didn't really do that.
Okay, I'm just thinking that
because I just sat in the shallow end of the pool, and he threw.
Look right there. Look right there. Port Taco works in Forsyth County at the Aquatic Center. That would be something pretty interesting that we could set up and try to. First of all, we're going to put you in the pool, and that's going to be interesting enough.
Are we?
Do you have to have floaties?
No. I can swim.
Do you have like a one-piece singlet kind of thing, or are you going to get in there?
I'll wear a Speedo.
That we need. Because listen, there's going to be a lot more of you hanging out than there is in that Speedo right there.
Do it for the camera.
Don't listen. We don't want to do none of that for a camera. Probably got a squirrel down there too. We don't need none of that stuff. All right. So anyway, let's set that up though. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Get a couple GoPros and get them under the water.
If you really and truly want to understand a bait, get in a pool and listen to it.
You're the first time somebody has mentioned that, but it makes sense. That's a surprisingly intelligent thing.
You'll be surprised what a jig sounds like in the water, underwater.
I would be surprised. Explain.
It's loud.
Really?
Yeah. When you throw it out there and when it falls down and it goes click, and then when you hop it, click, click, and then you drag it, it's like.
Now this is without rattles.
That's just the head, the lead, hitting the water. Hitting the bottom of a cement bottom pool.
It's that loud. It's that profound.
When it hits the bottom, it's click. So you think about that when you throw a jig up on the rocks. When it hits the rock, it's click. It's making a little bit like click noise. You think it's quiet, but it's really not. You can hear it.
Do you think as deep into this as he has evidently done, or okay? I'm just curious. I mean, I've never once, and I'm not insulting. I've never once thought about that.
The jig thing makes sense because you dropped it right here on this table or down there at 6 inches. It would make a noise.
Well, I mean, when it falls, it's like that under the water. It's not that loud. It's a lot more dead sounding.
Right, but
it makes noise.
Sound travels way better underwater than in the air. And even seeing the actions underwater is cool. Yeah, we got this great fish tank over here that we're supposed to be filming all this stuff. And it's really neat looking. If you ever come up here, we'll walk you down there and we can throw any jig. What's interesting, he talks about seeing the actions, is a lot of people think that living rubber, you got to throw living rubber to get that big flare and all this. Regular jig material flares like crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people realize, and I know we're off top water, but I don't, we're kind of down this rabbit hole a bit. I don't think a lot of people realize how much a regular jig flares and opens up when it's sitting on the bottom.
I make jigs. So
I know how but I don't think the average person does.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that they just think it's just a wad down there, but you'll hear, well, we need that living rubber to get up and move and flare up. And I'm like,
I like colors of jigs. I have certain colors I like to throw a jig, but right. I think all of it's about the back.
The top of the jig or the underside?
No, what's on your hook.
The trailer.
The trailer.
So you think the trailer makes more?
I think the trailer matters most. Okay,
why is that? Why I got you here?
Well, I just think that's what they see when they're picking it up, because you got to think of crawfish is in a defensive mode.
Right.
If you're throwing a double tail grub or a rage crawl or something like that, and it's sitting there like this, and it's just whatever. I don't throw rattles. I don't believe in rattles.
I don't either. And
when's the last time you turned over a rock and seen a crawfish jump out with a tambourine in his hand? Here I am.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's what I
I'm going to ask you guys this question because we started off the show the other day with this question. Pop-Tarts. I know. I wasn't going to say that, but it was brought up. All right. When you open a box of Pop-Tarts, there are 3 to however many boxes, there are 3 silver foil things with 2 Pop-Tarts in them. But if your wife said, go cook me a Pop-Tart, how many do you put in a toaster? Yeah, so you got to think about that, don't you?
Pop-Tart. Be one Pop-Tart.
One Pop-Tart, yeah.
Thank you, because the idiots that were on here the other night, the crappie fishermen, also 2. I'm just joking, guys. So Kyle, if all you watch, so I don't think you're idiots. All right, so listen, my wife wanted a Pop-Tart. I went in there and got one. I toasted it. I brought her a single Pop-Tart. She said, "What the hell is this?" I said, "It's a Pop-Tart." She goes, "No, Pop-Tarts are 2. The pack means Pop-Tarts." And there was actually people up there that said 2, but to me that's Pop-Tarts. And we had this big long discussion. So, but you're both one guys. Does that make sense to you, both of you?
Yeah.
A
That's 'cause-
Pop-Tart, yeah.
Well, it's because you're bass.
choose-
It's because you're bass anglers, and we make more sense than the crappie guys.
Uh,
That's what I'm gonna go with. But I love them guys to death. But they all said 2. It was just a comment right there, and I just wanted to get your. That's a good thing like that. All right, so let's get. We got a few minutes left. Let's get back on the top water. What is something that we have not covered that you find? And I know you brought all kinds of stuff. We could do a 4-hour episode with all the stuff you brought. You're like Jeremiah, but I don't want to keep you here that long. What is the one thing that we have not discussed tonight that you think is an absolute go-to? Everybody must have if they're throwing it. I'm gonna let you, Bryson, since he and I have talked you under the bus tonight. What's the one thing, or maybe what's your favorite thing? That, you're a buzzbait guy, right?
yeah.
You're a buzzbait guy, but what is the one thing maybe that we haven't discussed? Or I'm gonna throw a buzzbait no matter what, if given the opportunity.
Yeah, it depends. If I'm fishing shallow, I ain't gonna throw the buzz bait in 20 foot of water. That's gonna be on a point or up shallow.
Right.
Now, if I'm fishing point or something, it's gonna be the spook. I like the spook.
You like the spook. You don't. And here we got a comment right there. Hollow bodied frogs, weight baits. Do either of you throw regular Spro frogs?
Yeah, I got one sitting over there.
When do you throw it as opposed to this?
It's hard for me to always want to pick up a hollow body frog, and just because I throw that more, I have more confidence in that. But like right now would be the time to tie on a popping frog or a regular walking frog.
Guys the frog guys love their frogs.
Yes.
I mean, they're passionate about it.
Yes.
Especially the ones like to go like Gunnersville and stuff, or I guess down you follow all them. But it might not be. You can throw them anywhere, but I don't think Lanier is really known for that type of frog bite.
I've caught fish on frogs on Lanier. The really the best lake around here that I've caught more frog fish on, Cedar Creek.
Okay, well, that says that's all you need to say.
Well, I mean, it just has the structure.
You ever fish Cedar Creek?
Mm-mm.
That is the worst electric only lake in the history.
Well, I mean, it's just got the structure, but Hartwell's a good lake. Well, I say Hartwell. Clark Hill's probably better than Hartwell.
What about all these clear water reservoirs we got up here in North Georgia? Blue Ridge, Carter's, Notley, Chattooga, even down to Altoona.
I've never been to Blue Ridge and thrown a frog. I've never been to
That's what I'm
Notley
saying.
and thrown a frog. I've caught fish on Horny Toad, on Burton, on Chattooga.
There's got to be frogs up there. Why do people not throw them on those lakes?
You're not really imitating a frog.
Okay, so with the frog, we're not imitating a frog.
No, you're. Yeah.
See, that's a whole nother episode.
See,
what are we doing there?
And that's false, by the way, Eric. That's
frogs do better on lily pads. Lanier don't have any.
That don't have anything to do with it.
And they do work good on lily pads.
They work good on lily pads, but I'm gonna tell you what, in the back of a pocket or something like that, in the middle of a pocket, where the ditch is, in the back of a pocket, you throw a frog down the middle of that. If there's one back there interested, it will absolutely kill it.
Do you consider a finesse worm top water if it's weightless?
A finesse worm,
or trick worm? That's not true top water unless you really got to own the top. But I mean, it is within the upper third of the water column. So
you can still see the stripe.
Yeah, I mean,
but not your frogs mainly imitate bluegill. Jacob
yes,
Fleming.
That's exactly what they imitate.
Okay, so let me ask this: why not make it like a fish?
They have them, the Strike King popping perch.
Okay,
it looks like a brim.
But if I'm marketing something right now, Spro's got a huge frog following. They look like frogs. They're colored like frogs. You got the green ones, the black. Why not just make something that looks like a bluegill?
That really is aerodynamics. Because
all right, there you go. Pull it up.
When you're throwing that thing, I didn't bring a frog. I got a talking frog.
I just find it interesting that every time we talk about horny toads or frogs, we're not even trying to mess. People are saying you're not even trying to imitate a frog. Now, for somebody like me who doesn't fish frogs, I would find that to be. I mean, that looks like a frog.
Yeah.
If it looks like a frog, it smells like a frog. It's a frog. So, but you're saying it's more, and Jacob says it's more of a more.
I don't know. I don't know the exact true backstory of it, but I heard a story that they come up with. They called it a frog because somebody was watching frogs move across the top of the water on a grass bed up north, and I think it was in Minnesota, and they were skipping and hopping across the grass that was on top of the water, and one blew up on it, and it was chasing it, and it was actually chasing a frog. So I guess someone decided to make a bait that was like, and they called it a frog. But if it wasn't for Dean Rojas, it would not be as popular of a bait as it was now.
Okay.
And I've got the luxury of being able to talk to Dean Rojas before, and he's like, dude, a lot of people think it's just you throwing it, you can only throw it at grass and throw it at lily pads and stuff. He's like, dude, you can throw that thing down the bank, you can throw that thing anywhere where there's bluegill or anything like that. You can pull out a frog and catch fish.
So I find that to be interesting because that would have been the last thing that I would have thought of when we were going to talk frog fishing, that we're more imitating the bluegill.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, all right. Okay. That's interesting. So I learned that tonight along with several other things. Now, let me ask you this. I'll start with you. If you're converting over to his way of throwing top water and stuff like that, if you could give somebody out there who's never thrown this type of stuff, any of these baits we're talking about on top water, and you wanted to give them a bit of advice, what would it be?
Start shallow with the frog or the pawpaw.
Okay.
I got better one than that.
Yeah, see what you got.
Don't give up on it.
Yeah.
Why'd you say it like in a sexy voice or something like that? Don't give up on it.
I'm trying to be serious about it.
Don't give up on it. Commit to it.
Yeah. You have to. It's like what I said earlier in the show. If you're going to do something like this, you have to have the mentality to do it.
Right.
And you have to commit to it. You can ask him, how many times have we thrown this and not get the bite that we needed?
Yeah, a bunch. And then we just throw it back down and go do something else.
Gotcha.
They're either going to want it or they're not.
Yeah.
Okay. What size hook? Again, Nathan wants to know what size hook is on the horny toad, and do you use a weighted hook? So we know it's an owner.
It's an owner.
It's a screw lock
hook. 5/0 screw lock hook.
Weightless.
It does not have a weight.
Is there ever a time to use a weighted one?
I don't ever do it, but if you want to do it, anybody wanted to try it, you can try it. I just don't do it.
Okay.
I just don't do it because I skip so much with it.
All right, real quick, what's your thought on wake baits?
Red fins are money.
Yeah. And is that anywhere?
And if you're going to fish Lake Lanier or any lake that has herring in it, wake bait is money.
What's the best way to so let me get Nathan's because he's back on that. Do you ever have issues with the frog turning upside down, or does it matter? Now that's something I have tried to throw these in the past, and I have had the frog flip on me. What did I do wrong? I know
you got to rig it right.
So it was,
and also there's a little trick you can do when you look at it and you watch the bait and you can see it, and it takes a little bit of practice. Okay. He's seen me do it. I do it. I do it in my sleep
all the time.
Okay, so yours turns upside down.
I do it in my sleep. I can flip it over in my sleep though. But
is it just changing the pace?
No.
Are you going to tell us?
Is it
a ancient Chinese secret or what? What are we going to do?
If you see it, first of all, you can't rig it straight to the nose.
Okay.
Really, you have to insert the centering pin up through the bottom.
So you're coming up at an angle a little bit.
Yeah, if this is the frog nose, you have to take that centering pin and go in like this and twist it on.
Right.
And then straighten the frog up and then twist the rest of it on.
So almost like if you were doing it to yourself and your nose would be dead center, you're coming up like underneath your bottom lip at an angle.
Well, if you look at that, you can kind of see how it's cupped up.
Yes.
And it has kind of an angle kicking up on the nose.
Yes, I can see that. I don't know that they would be able
They
to see
probably
that.
can't see it, but
Right.
you just have to take my word for it. But when you get it out there, if you see it's upside down, you can take your rod when you're reeling it, and you can flip the frog over.
Almost like a fly fisherman mending his line.
Yes, you can flip it over. And I know he's seen me do it. You can flip it over. You just flip it over, and he'll turn over.
I just had to stop reeling and it go.
And he'll turn
And
over.
that's why Nathan said he asked about the weighted screw.
The weighted screw will make sure that it always is straight up.
But you're not going to be able to keep it up. That's what you use?
That's what he likes to use. He throws like a 1/16.
What do you throw it on? I mean, you're on a bait caster too, or you?
Yes, I throw it on a bait caster too. I started with a spinning rod because I was more accurate from the back of the boat.
Okay, what are the baits on the table, not on the rods? Well, here's a Chopo. Make sure I can get it under that rod right there. Yeah. So we have this Chopo that he got out that we had earlier, and of course that's Berkeley's. Their answer to the Whopper Plopper. Do you got anything you want to show them real quick? Let's see.
So I guess we're getting running low on time. My advice, real quick, I'll just give a quick minute rundown.
Yes.
My advice, if you're going to go fishing and throwing top water, if you early in the morning, a gunfish is really good.
Let me hold that up while you keep talking.
A gunfish is really good because it has the cup and you can make it spit.
Okay.
And it spits.
Yep. So I got that
And
right angle.
typically first thing in the morning, the water is a lot calmer.
Okay.
The wind hasn't picked up.
This one's got the feather.
It's got tail feather on it.
And so this and you're popping.
No, that's your walking.
So this and does
And
it walk the dog?
It just walks like
So it
this.
does like a spook. It'll walk the dog.
It walks
and this
like
one has
this
a rattle.
back and forth. Yes.
You guys might Eric Thurman want to know what kind of sound does a flipping frog make. Have you ever had one of those?
A what?
A flipping frog.
I don't know.
You don't know? I mean, a frog. So I mean, any of the frogs. Did you have those in the pool? Do they make a noise when you're bringing them over?
I didn't try one.
Didn't try frog. Okay.
I didn't try frog.
So this is that's got a definite rattle right there. All right. So this is a gunfish. All right.
There's another gunfish. This is a good one.
We call them pencil poppers.
It's kind of like a pencil popper. It's a gunfish 135.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's just a bigger profile bait, and it's got a lot louder of a knock in it.
Same thing.
Same thing. Walking the dog.
Is it true? I heard somebody say with these baits that you actually can, because they're weighted to the back, you actually can sit there and make them jiggle without actually coming forward.
I've never done it. I've never tried.
But have you ever heard anybody talk about that?
I haven't heard.
Because of the weight, I was told, and I might be incorrect, that since the weight is to the back, this is going to sit like this.
It does sit like that.
It sits like that, so like you can actually mend your line to where the bait, if it was looking at you like that, you're going sideways like this, or it's pointing at you like that, but it's not moving forward very much. So
I'm going to try that tomorrow.
you need. I mean, listen, I'm not talented enough to do that. But do you still throw top water at Lanier when it's windy and there's a lot of chop on the water? Y'all would rather throw it.
Yes.
That's the time that they want to throw it on all these big lakes. Is y'all can't stand a smooth, crystal clear.
The fish can't get a good look at it until they done got it.
Okay, so
listen to me over here.
Jacob Fleming, yeah, you can keep them in the same spot and still work them. So that's what I'm saying. You can, and you get that rattle.
That gives the fish something.
This one is brand new, ready for this year, because I absolutely wear these things out. That's a super spook.
I love
saltwater super spook.
Oh, I like the color. Yeah. So you got the blue. Look at that color right there. So that's good. Now, spook. This was the original Walk the Dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it even really get any better than this? I don't know why people use anything else, but I always like that frog, and I guess maybe that's why I didn't catch as many, because I thought the frog spook was mimicking a frog, but just a big one, the big, in the farm pond.
I'll throw this one when the sun gets up good because it's chrome. I'll throw that one, and then we'll throw that one.
That's the bone.
That's
color.
the bone.
Yeah.
Saltwater super spook. I throw the saltwater super spook.
And why is that?
Just because they're bigger. You can throw them a lot farther.
Do you change the hooks out on your spooks? I heard a lot of people will change the hooks out on a head and prop.
I have. These are, like I said, these are brand new, straight out of the box. We put these in here today. Watch it. I got.
Hey man, that's right. I know how to.
I will take the
watch
hook.
that video.
I will change the hooks.
You'll change the hooks.
Yes.
Because the head and hooks are not very well, but you go back with a bigger hook of the exact same size.
I put number 1 Gamakatsus on.
Number 1 What are these? What number you reckon those are?
Probably number 2.
So you go with just a slightly smaller one.
No, a bigger.
Or slightly bigger, excuse me.
Number 1 Gamakatsu treble.
Okay. All right.
I'll take those off. Like I said, those are brand new out of the package. These have not been thrown yet. These are ready for I grabbed them off the wall and threw them in there.
Okay. Yeah, I love my Zara Spook Michael Temples. That's what I grew up throwing.
These right here. People talking about wake baits.
This is not the noise he's making. There you go.
There's no easy way to keep your
No, not at all. Excuse me.
That's the best way to get them off. If you want to throw a wake bait, a good wake bait that's better than a redfin, in my opinion. This is the Spro.
Is that an E-Pop?
The Walker. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the Walker, but that's chrome olive. It looks good,
and you just reel it very slow.
It's wake bait. You throw it on top of the water. You just reel it real slow. Hold your rod tip up high and
Now, do they crush it or do they suck that in?
They'll do both.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll be sitting there throwing that thing, and you'll just see a bowl, and you're like, "Oh God, my bait."
Better for a clear water lake or stained water, or does it matter?
I only throw it on clear water because I just what I do.
All right, so let's before we end up leaving, let's do this. A lot of the lakes, a lot of rain here, a lot of stain. What are we throwing on a stained water?
Top water.
Yeah.
It's
just buzz bait or
buzz bait, something that makes a lot of racket because the walking baits right now with the
one blade or 2 blade, or does it matter?
I only throw 2 blades.
He only throws 2 blades.
You throw.
I'm old school.
1 blade.
1 blade. But he's got me throwing them. I throw them.
These are what I like to throw.
What's the deal with the balls on the back of them?
It floats.
That thing, as soon as it hits the water, as soon as you start
cranking it, it's already going.
And that's what those are behind the propellers or props or whatever you want to call it.
And also, this one you can reel that buzz bait, unlike you can with other buzz baits. You can reel that buzz bait about like this, and it'll just real slow.
The old school single blade ones, you got to get her up on plane.
This is a B2 Accent Lures B2 buzz bait.
When do you throw a wake bait? That was a question that popped up.
We've been throwing wake bait since about the end of March.
Okay, right now's a good time.
When we started finding fish in the backs of these creeks before pre-spawning, throw that wake bait down the middle and stuff at them.
Gotcha.
And they'll come up and come get it. And typically right now, if you get a bite on a wake bait, it's typically going to be a pretty good fish.
Gotcha. All right. So what kind of trailer, or do you use a trailer on a buzz bait?
Yes. And I have some right here.
Do you use the same?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I throw on the back of mine.
And what is that?
That is a Bass Pro Shops Cajun trailer.
Okay.
Is what that is.
And do you always throw a
trailer hook? I always throw a trailer hook on my buzz bait.
How about spinner baits? Just out of curiosity.
I always throw a trailer hook on my spinner bait.
Okay. So you the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
The only time I don't throw a trailer hook on the spinner bait is if I go to Eufaula.
And why is that?
And if you fished Eufaula, you would know.
I would know. Okay, well I haven't.
Because you'll throw spinner bait around the hydrilla and stuff. And
I understand.
God, dang it.
You got grass
all over it.
You got anything in there else you want to show up before I wrap it up?
Only real thing.
I mean, you did bring all the stuff, so I want to make sure you get
everything. But
that's the way it goes here. We always make the best of plans, and it never. But if there's something that you think somebody needs to see, I've got time. So let's go ahead and.
This is when they start moving on right now, here coming up in May,
right? When
the spots get off the bed and they start getting on the brush and stuff, this is your number 1 bait to start fishing with.
Okay, and tell everybody what that is.
That's a chug bug. That's the big chug bug. That's not the small one. That's the big chug bug.
Right.
This will help you locate what kind of brush piles they're relating to.
Okay.
Because they will come grab that or bull on that. And then you can go back later and throw something else and see if you can't produce another strike. But anytime 1st of May, I have this tied on and I start throwing this.
Right. Okay.
That's what I do.
And that will work on any lake, or how do you work it?
You just pull that thing as hard as you can.
So
you're trying to just.
So you get a single boom,
yeah,
and then reel up your slack.
Well,
pop it.
No, you don't reel on your slack. You just keep moving. You just
Oh, okay. So you're continuously working.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to know how you
Yeah.
work the chug.
You just keep on. You're going to be reeling, and you're just pulling. You're just snapping the rod tip down.
Okay.
And as crazy as it sounds, a shorter rod is better too.
Okay. And why is that?
Because with the shorter rod, you can really get the snap in it compared to 1 over 7 foot. I actually throw that thing on a 6/8 medium heavy rod.
A chug bug on a 6/8 medium heavy.
That's actually what I throw it on.
And what kind of line?
15-pound P line.
P line as well.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. That's it. Eric Payne. Again, great info tonight, guys. Thank you. Thanks for all the knowledge. Listen, that's kind of, we like to goof off. We like to have fun, but that's what we're trying to work this show more towards is having the guys bring in their rods and all that and become a little more informative. And I know we try to pack a lot. And there's only so much you can do in a couple hours. We really could sit here we could sit here for like 8 or 10 hours. Yeah. We wouldn't cover what we really need to cover.
Probably not.
And especially as many times he's picking up his phone when his wife's calling, won't know where he's at.
No.
Did you tell her you were going to be here tonight?
Yeah.
She knows. Is she watching?
Yeah. I don't know if she is or not.
I doubt I will say this about the crappie guys. Their wives and one of them's mama was watching. When you get your mama on here, that's pretty good.
I think Melinda watched the last one that I was on. And then she turned it off after.
Yeah, I know. My wife don't watch it either. She's like, "Did anything good happen?" And I'll tell her if it was funny, she'll watch it. But again, that's where we're kind of taking the show. And we're gonna actually branch it out a little bit here, starting in May. Paul and I talked about it, and I mentioned it to Josh. We're gonna start changing the format a little bit, where the Tuesday night shows. The Tuesday night shows are going to be non-bass related starting in May. So on Tuesday nights, we'll do our crappie, catfish. Going to get the striper guys in here, the trout guys. It may be a kayak episode, like specifically on the kayak, stuff like that. So it'll be non-bass angling. And then our Thursday night shows are going to be towards, the bass guys, the tournaments coming up, stuff like that. So hopefully we can, help branch it out even further. Now, question, what are those jigs by the beer koozie right there? Those are just a couple of sand jigs that we tied up back when the sand color was a little hot on Lanier.
Sand pig
was one that you guys made a long time ago like that. So if you were going on Lanier tomorrow, what are you going to throw?
I am going to Lanier tomorrow.
Okay, so you are going to Lanier tomorrow. Are you going, Bronson?
Yes.
What are you throwing? Topwater. You know what? Give me 3 baits you'll throw tomorrow in Lake Lanier.
Probably the chug bug and the spook will be tied on. First part of the morning. And then if it don't rain, we'll fish the docks and the staging areas. It's hard to find any bedding fish right now because the water is so muddy.
Right, and if it ain't muddy, it's got 2 tons of pollen on top of it like that. It take a whole ton of dawn to get all that stuff to move.
But we'll still go try it, I'm sure.
That's right. What about you, Ryan?
We'll still look.
What about you? And yes, Nathan, that's exactly what I was going to say. What's the 3 baits you would have on tomorrow? And you can't.
Well, wacky rig Cinco would be one.
Yep.
Fishing around docks because I know for a fact they're spawning underneath docks right now. So if anyone's going fishing tomorrow,
there you go.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
I seen somebody today said they went and fished yesterday and didn't catch a fish or something like that. I can't remember who it was. And you just need to pick up a Cinco wacky rig.
Right. Weightless or weighted?
Weighted.
Yeah.
This time of year, it seems like the weightless ones, it seems like the smaller fish will come grab it before the bigger ones will. And I do not know why. It makes absolutely 0 sense.
Gotcha.
But they just seem like they will.
Okay, what's your other 2 real quick? Just for tomorrow. I mean, even if you're not going to throw topwater, you just you said a wacky rig and what? And for those watching this later, this is we're into the 2nd week almost of April.
I'll have a spinnerbait because I always throw spinnerbait.
Yep.
And
think hard.
If I can find some clear water, I'll throw a fluke.
Okay. It's got to be clear water.
Yeah.
All right.
But see, we're limited. We have a tournament Sunday. We're limited.
Right.
where we can be.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
because we break the lake up into 3 sections of the lake,
and have a
And
you
it
got only
just-
fish a section.
yeah, it just so happens that Sunday we cannot come below the bridge at 53
I
up the
got you.
hooch.
So you're gonna be in the muddy water.
And it's the biggest. It's gonna be the biggest mud hole ever.
That's right. What color spinnerbait, real quick? Depending on the water.
Spinnerbait.
If you're in the mud, you're gonna be in muddy waters or stained waters. What are you throwing?
I like chartreuse and white, with more white than chartreuse, or purple one.
Okay.
Nah, I don't throw coleslaw.
Coleslaw is a good
I
one.
got a purple one that I throw. It's purple and silver.
Okay. What about you? If you're throwing a spinnerbait, what color?
White chartreuse would probably gold willow leaf.
Gold willow leaf.
And a 1 ounce mini me is something that shouldn't be overlooked.
1 ounce
Yeah.
mini me. There you
A
go.
1 ounce mini me right now is something that shouldn't be overlooked.
Absolutely. And guys, if you're in the Canton area tomorrow, Josh and I, it probably will not be first thing, but we're going to be out there at Hickory Log, just seeing what they can, what we can scrounge up, and if we can get through the Dink Fest, and see if we can kind of get on. And it's really tough because we're a week off. We have a 1 week off, so whatever we find might not, be in play in a week. Could be, depends on the weather, but at least we'll be fishing. So if you're out,
It's going to stay pretty consistent for a few weeks.
Yeah. So it should. I hope.
It should.
It should. So if you're in the Canton area and you're around Hickory Log and you guys want to come out and say, hey, we'll be out there, and give us a shout. And
Double willow, yes.
Double willow, not the deep diver. No.
Deep diver.
I guess they're talking about something else up there. So, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight because we've gone a little bit longer. Again, like I said, we need to do these on Friday nights. We can just do all nighters.
I know.
That's about the best way, and then people can go back and watch it because we don't even really cover what we need to cover. But there was a lot of good information that was thrown out tonight. Bronson and Ryan, a lot of good stuff that I didn't know, things to consider, and just even something as simple as the frog is not really representing the frog.
And I don't care one
seriously.
bit. If you ever have any questions or want any kind of advice, I will share knowledge with you.
He will. Yeah,
I
he
don't
will.
care.
That's true.
You can hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah, hit Ryan up on Facebook. And if you can't get in touch with him, thank you, Nathan. If you can't get in touch with him, hit me and I'll get it to him. That's just, that's where we're going to take these shows from here on out, just trying to start throwing the knowledge. And again, guys, share this. There's a lot of people that, that don't know that we do this. And especially some of the younger kids and stuff like that they can learn from a lot of the guests that we have on there. And we're going to try to get enough variety to keep everybody interested. A lot of you guys are out there in the comments section. Listen, there's some very smart guys out there. And if you ever want to be on the show, if you've got something to offer anybody else out here, if you've got the knowledge to offer, hit me up and, we'll work it where we can put you on and we'll get a show rigged up. That's how Jeremiah, everybody knows Jeremiah. That's how he came on. He was in the comment section, and I heard several people say that, hey, this guy can fish, and then we had him on, and now everybody knows he's the swim bait guy. He had something to offer, and that was pretty cool. So, Nathan, I know you fish Lanier a lot. You'd be a good one. You fish with a lot of good anglers. You'd be a good one to come on and talk. So, again, we have, this is for you guys. We do this for you guys. It's all about you guys. I'm not, trust me, the networks are not coming for me, wanting me to jump ship and start calling football games or something. We're doing a talk show host on CNN or Fox or nothing like that. So this is all us together, and we appreciate you taking your time, tuning in with us. Again, if you're new, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you can be notified of any future content. Give us a follow on Fish North Georgia group and the Fish North Georgia page on Facebook. Go to Fish North Georgia at Fish North at Fish North Georgia on Instagram and on Twitter, Fish North GA. And we have a TikTok too. We haven't put a video on there in a little bit. We need to get that back going too, but it's at Fish North Georgia. So guys, we appreciate again Ryan and Bronson for coming out tonight. And we hope to see you guys. If you're fishing Saturday, this Saturday here in Georgia or wherever in the Southeast, this line of storms that's coming, you guys stay safe. I hope it doesn't ruin your plans. The swim bait show, real quick, last question. When was the swim bait show? We did that, about 2 months ago? Maybe a little longer, Paul?
It was supposed to be Farmer on Nautilus.
And we ended up doing it. So
It was the first time we tried to do that.
yeah, it's the first time we tried to do Farmer. So I'd say 2.5, 3 months. Maybe go back and look at that. And Jeremiah, again, here's our schedule for next week. Tuesday night, we're going to talk electric elites and bass fishing. Stuff that you guys need to know. And listen, we're inviting a lot of you guys that fish these big lakes. We really want you to bring your game over to the elites. All right. It don't take as much to get one of these boats rigged up as you think it is. We want you to bring it, and we're going ready to throw some serious cash out there. You guys are going to want to stay tuned to see what that is. And then next Thursday night, Jeremiah will be back on, and we will be talking a little more in depth on swim bait. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for staying all the way. I know this was a long one. We'll see you next Tuesday. You guys have a safe weekend.